joint work session with the Albany County Board of Commissioners. And we have really a session tonight with our community partners that will highlight for many much of the good works that are going on in our community. And you'll begin to see how the connections that we all have help to create a network for the people in our community. And we thank you very much for all that you do. We're going to start this evening with public comment. Then we will go on to our first brief work session, which has been our exploration of civic sense, understanding budget and finance. And it's not going to be a long presentation. Now, I think you all can smell it. We have pizza in the hall and drinks. Please feel free to help yourself. It is for you this evening. So without further ado, we will start with, is there any public comment on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we will go on to our first work session. Director Jen Wade. And counselors, what we will do is, if you need questions during the presentation, raise your hand. Otherwise, at the end of the presentation, we can open it for questions and comments. All righty, Director Wade.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Madam Chairman, members of the City Council, and Albany County Commissioners. So we are wrapping up our Civic Sense work session series, trying to really digest financial information in a much more concise way. And we thought with 2 local tax elections this year, it might be a really good idea as we move into budget season to talk about the SPET investment in Albany County and really celebrate that investment and provide a little bit more education about that SPET tax. Thank you. So just quickly, what is the SPET? I typically call the SPET the 6th penny, and many of you may know this tax by that name. SPET actually stands for Specific Purpose Excise Tax, and we tend to use that term when we are talking about this local tax election. And so if you hear people saying the 6th penny or the SPET, those are actually interchangeable words. But right now, there's a lot of SPET conversation going on. This tax is a voter-approved tax, and it's collected by amount rather than term. So that's different than our 5th penny, which is voted on for a 4-year term. This tax is presented to voters by the total amount, and it's only for specific projects that are presented to on the ballot that the voters approve. Even the interest earned on the tax collections has to be allocated to the projects approved by voters. And one of the things I wanted to emphasize this evening is that the SPET, certainly for the city and I think for the county as well, is actually part of how we fund essential government services in Albany County, the city, and the town of Rock River. As you know, we are what is considered to be kind of a lower sales and use tax per capita community in Wyoming. It's been a little different for the past couple of years because of wind energy development, but you know, the good times don't last. And so we'll go back to our normal state on the bottom of that per capita graph. And this SPET tax is really how we're able to deliver what we consider to be essential services for our community, just for specific projects. And so it works a little bit differently than that 5th penny, which will also be on the ballot this year for voters to consider. So who benefits from this tax? Well, essentially voters benefit from this tax, which is why they get to decide whether they approve it or not. Governmental entities receive funding based on the uses stated on the ballot, and that can change depending on the tax. For the 2026 proposed tax, which will be voted on in May, as well as the 2018 tax, the Albany County, the city of Laramie, the town of Rock River, and the Laramie Regional Airport stand to benefit from these voter-approved taxes. So let's talk just briefly about the economic impact of the SPET in Albany County. So these SPET investments, because they pay for critical services like streets and like public safety, they really help our community be a great place to live, work, and play, keeping us attractive not only for those of us who live here already, but keeping us attractive for businesses that might want to move in, which helps our town and improves economic development. Certainly, the SPET helps us take care of better infrastructure for our community, a portion of roads, streets, drainage, water, wastewater, solid waste. These have all been funded on past SPET taxes, and we'll take just a moment to review some of those investments since 2001, just a little bit later on. Even the city's much beloved recreational facilities, so our Rec Center, our Ice and Event Center, also were primarily funded by the SPET tax. Our 4th and 5th cent sales and use tax lists simply don't provide enough funding to maintain this type of infrastructure long term. We can make small improvements, but the big stuff tends to end up on the SPET tax. SPET taxes also provide for a safe community. So one of the things you'll notice a little bit later on is there have been consistent investments in public safety. You'll see some items on the upcoming ballot for improvements to the fire station, police station, animal control building for the city's part. And so we're able to make these investments to keep our community safe, which also means that we're a community that businesses want to invest in and relocate to. And finally, investments in our airport allow for local reliable options for air travel, which are critical for continued economic development in our community. So let's celebrate just briefly what voters have approved since 2001. So this is what has actually been approved by voters on the ballot. These totals are not inflation-adjusted dollars, so it would have just been what voters saw and approved. 63%, or about $89 million, has supported essential infrastructure related equipment for the county, city, and Rock River. That includes everything from streets to storm to water to wastewater to solid waste investments. So a majority of this tax over time has been invested in that critical infrastructure. About 12%, or $16.1 million, has been for the development of recreational facilities in our city that we could not otherwise fund without this investment. That includes, as I mentioned before, the Laramie Rec Center and the Ice and Event Center. Around 10%, about $14.7 million, half of this amount has been for public safety improvements of a variety of types, and the other half is for essential airport infrastructure. Around 8%, or $10.7 million, has been used for the upkeep of essential service buildings, including the courthouse, city hall, library, town hall, and more. On the current ballot, you'll see some improvements to our fire station. It's hard to deliver fire services without an appropriate fire station, and so these buildings are an important part of that SPET investment. Around 6%, or $9 million, has been used to develop and improve park and trail amenities in our community. And around 1%, or $1.3 million, has been to develop and improve the Albany County Fairgrounds. The 2026 proposed SPET will be on the ballot in early May. Today, you'll see some information sheets that are on your chairs. This is what they look like. This information sheet will tell you a little bit about the city's projects so you can become acquainted with them. You'll also see a website. It's www.cityoflaramie.org/sixthpenny, where you can go to see all of the projects. I'm sure the county has a similar site. And so if you take this information sheet with you, you'll be able to go and look at the projects that are going to be on the ballot in May and really decide what you think about those projects. What I want you to know is the proposed tax is $95 million, and that estimated collection time is 10 to 12 years. Now, that was the same estimated collection time as the 2018 tax, but thanks to our friends that are working in wind energy development, we collected that tax a couple of years early. And that will be the case this time, too, if we get additional revenue, because remember, this is a tax that's based on amount rather than the term. I also want you to know that governing bodies collaborated to form the ballot based on critical priorities, and those critical priorities really change over time. As I looked at the ballots from 2001 to 2026, each one of them has a different flavor, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but each one tends to have a theme. There are a lot of essential service buildings on this tax. The last tax, there was a lot of essential infrastructure, and so governing bodies will prioritize those projects based on their needs at the time and their projected projected needs for the term of the tax, which is typically about a decade. And finally, it's worth emphasizing that 99% of the collected tax is reinvested back into our community based on those stated projects. The next tax will be considered by voters at a special election on May the 5th, 2026. Contact our very good county clerk for information on how and where to vote. And it's my understanding that early voting starts soon. So I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Councilors, commissioners, questions? Yes, Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director Wade. This isn't really a question, just a comment that I want to thank the county commissioners and my fellow council members, because we put a lot of effort and discussion, and as I told Terry, spirited discussion into making this work and thought out, you know, the priority project list. And there are some projects that were omitted just basically due to how much the need is. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions or comments? Yes. Commissioner Jones.
Thank you very much. It's important to remember that this tax is a sales tax. And so everyone that comes through Laramie and buys anything helps us collect this tax. And that's one of the kind of taxes that we're lucky that we can collect from other people as they visit Laramie. So I think that's really important.
Thank you. That is an important point. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Director Wade, thank you. And I would ask, is there any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, we will move on to our featured work session. The community partner funding presentations. And we have an order that we will go in. So the presentations are 3 minutes, and then we have 2 minutes for questions from the commissioners or councilors. And we do have copies of your grant applications that you've put in, so that we're taking notes tonight, and then we are in the process of reviewing all of those applications. So this is just part of the process. So our first presenter is Tell a Hope and Ian Fletcher. Good evening, Ian. Welcome. Thank you. The clerk will take those. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, council members and commissioners, for being here. Honorable Mayor Cumby and Chairwoman Jones. I am very fortunate to call Laramie home for the last 7 years. I've been a student at the University of Wyoming since 2019. Unfortunately, I was there through COVID, but fortunately I decided to stay and work through my dissertation, and now I'm a PhD candidate there at the University of Wyoming. And I'm very, very fortunate of the amount of resources that have been present to me throughout my academic journey and the university. But in this, and throughout most of Laramie and most of small-town Wyoming, there's a large emphasis on physical and mental health. And I do think that Wyoming is starting to turn the page and starting to begin a better environment when it comes to mental and physical health. But I do still think that there's one fundamental problem that's missing, especially when we turn our focus away from just mental health in general and towards the fight against suicide. And that is social health. If we think about very strong programs that have existed in the past, things like Alcoholics Anonymous, that focus on very, very physical and mental aspects, one of the things that really makes Alcoholics Anonymous work very, very well is that social support network that all of the alcoholics and recovering addicts have to support them. And that is the one thing that I do believe that Laramie is missing in their fight against suicide. And so that's what we do here at Tell a Hope, is that we believe that it is a lot easier to go and seek out mental health resources and to go talk to a therapist with a friend, right? Because not everybody is qualified to be a therapist, but everybody is qualified to be a good friend. Over the last year, since I've joined Tell a Hope, we've reached 24,000 students across 4 states in the Rocky Mountain West. And with your money that we've applied for, we would be able to expand and provide free telehope workshops and community building workshops to every student within Albany County. This includes those in the town of Rock River, but also those across Albany County School District 1 and those at the University of Wyoming. We're anticipating that your funds would help us reach another 14,000 students in the next year alone, and we do so by doing a very, very simple workshop, right? Our workshops are 45 minutes. We go into classrooms where students already exist, in communities that they exist in every single day, and show them just how easy it is to find a friend that is sitting right next to them that they may never have reached out to. And to find this support between everybody within their own communities and within their teams and classrooms is a special bond that can never be found and can never be supplemented. We complement existing mental health resources by providing a social support network that is unique to Laramie, right? Because there's no social support network and there's no universal solution to anything. You have to find your own, and it has to be worthwhile to you. And so when we talk to students as young as 5 years old in preschools and kindergarten classrooms, and we talk to students that are graduating from the University of Wyoming in May, we get the same response where I would have never reached out to the person next to me if I wouldn't have had the courage and confidence to do so. And by investing in telehope and investing in these workshops, we hopefully can provide the confidence to students across Albany County and within our university and school districts here locally to build this confidence to hopefully begin a new chapter in the fight against suicide. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Councilors, commissioners, any questions for Ian?
I just have one question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councilor Hobb.
Sorry. And I'm going to ask this of everyone this evening just because it's related to a tax dollar that is
Absolutely.
on the ballot this year.
Yeah.
Can your organization exist without this funding?
It can, but unfortunately, we may not be able to provide the extensive amount of service to Albany County specifically without it.
Any further questions or comments? Vice Mayor.
I have just one question for you. I was looking through the financials, and it notes that you all have sales revenue. What is it that you all sell?
So what we typically market our workshops as is we go to the school districts and ask for speaker fees because it is just a two-man operation. We don't really have any external funds outside of donations, and so we've started charging in the last year's speaker fee. And this is something that is a $2,000 a day that helps just fund my co-director Ralph and I to allow us to travel across the entire state of Wyoming. But like I said, that this money would help waive those speaker fees for the entirety of Albany County for the year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I will say that our Laramie Youth Council representatives from the high school, that their major concern this year, project that they're working on, is mental health. And one of their major approaches is how to utilize friends and to recognize and help one another. So I think your topic is very coherent with what the youth are talking about right now. Thank you.
Absolutely, that means a lot. Thanks so much.
Next, Jesse Kohler for Laramie Reproductive Health. Good evening, Jesse.
Testing? Better? Okay. So I'm going to go through our services very briefly, but I also want to talk about what's not in the PowerPoint, seeing as that's what you guys already have in your portfolios. We do low cost, no cost for STI testing, birth control, pregnancy testing, counseling, preconception services for folks who are trying to get pregnant, all the way up to hormone replacement therapy for those going through menopause or having hormone imbalances of some kind. With that being said, we have a sliding fee scale, and everybody is on there, regardless if you have income or not. Everybody lands on the sliding fee scale. We also do 12-month payment plans. Outside of that, you guys are, I would have to assume most of you guys are aware of our core services and what we provide. I want to talk to you about what we're going to be doing differently. Recently, as of this year, we have expanded into general health services for our established patients, hopefully to be meeting the need of primary care physicians, as the ratio here from the Community Health Needs Assessment showed quite the disparity, specifically for Albany County in respect to Wyoming and the nation as a whole. Outside of that, for those of you that may not know, Western Wyoming Family Planning unfortunately is closing their doors at the end of this month, which leaves the I-80 corridor for southeastern Wyoming completely barren of the services that we provide. With that, we are looking at doing a satellite clinic in Rollins to some extent, just to offer those folks some kind of services. We're already seeing some people coming from that area, and it's going to be even more pronounced than it was in the past. One challenge that's been proven to me in my short, I haven't even been here for a year, almost a year, but one challenge that has shown itself and time and time again in rural spaces is getting qualified health professionals to come and serve in these positions for an extended period of time. And for nonprofits specifically, you're looking at places that cannot compete with for-profit clinics. And where's the balance? How do we get the talent that we need in these spaces while simultaneously paying them appropriately? And so for that, I would ask that we need assistance for that. I'm going to leave me. I'm going to be done now. Okay.
Thank you, Jesse. Councilors, commissioners, any questions or comments?
I'm not going to ask my question. I'm pretty sure you could survive without the funding, but.
Yes. Yeah. We accidentally didn't apply last year, but I wasn't here yet.
I just wanted to say I appreciate the innovation you all are implementing toward the provision of primary care, which is so needed for especially people of lower income. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cumbie.
All right. Our next presenter is Laramie Climb of Wyoming, Nicole Sherwood. Good evening, Nicole.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors and commissioners. I'm not going to be near as entertaining as Jess is, just for the record. But I do want to start by thanking you for this opportunity and by sharing that I don't envy your decision-making this evening. I know just by looking around the room that there's a lot of need in the room and limited funding to go around. So I appreciate the time that you're taking and the thoughtfulness in this approach. That being said, I wanted to just share about why Climb would be a good investment, as we are unique in how we operate. We are free job training and free job placement, and we're mental health based. And we reinvest in the community as we have a high rate of poverty in Albany County, and we know the importance of self-sufficiency in our community members. We serve single moms knowing that they have a limited opportunity for education and for good jobs. And that in turn, by serving them, if they receive a good job, then they can reinvest into that community and become self-sufficient. The city has been an employer partner of ours in the past, and some of you have been mock interviewers and understand, and you're integral in that process. My first slide that we have up here, just from last year, it shows the number of women that we have connected with just in the last year alone. We supported 22 women in program, which means 12 weeks of job preparation, job placement, and mental health support to sustain them in their jobs. We don't just place them in a job and say good luck. We make sure that they are onboarding successfully and that they are adjusting well. We also served 90 women who didn't come through program, whether they needed extra support to be able to come through program at a later date, or if they just needed some resume support or help with other resources in the community. And so we also served 53 graduates, and so these are women, the door's always open for women that come through Climb, and so if they need additional support or they're ready to take the next step, some of them want to continue schooling, we support them in that as well. By supporting women, they can better support their families, And as you can see, that there are a high number of children in that last slide. I didn't do the math. I have an English degree, but there's a lot, hundreds of them. And so by supporting them, you can see that the hundreds of children just in the last year alone received the benefit of their mom having climb support. And the self-sufficiency that I spoke to also means providing for women throughout the state that we have supported. Climb's been in existence for 40 years in Wyoming, and a woman's food stamp use is reduced by 82% on average within 2 years. And so that next slide, the one, go back one. There we go, yes. That slide shows that we have a 100% graduation rate from last year, 100% employment rate with increased wages, and then often with private benefits from employers like health insurance. And then our return on investment, it's not on that slide, but in 1 year, the return on investment is 2 to 1, and our lifetime ROI is 63 to 1. One last important note about Climb and our funding is that we don't duplicate any other services in town. We think that we are unique in that aspect. We work in conjunction with a lot of members here tonight, but what we do is unique, and we want it to be long-term, and so that's...
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
Thank
Okay.
you. That's
Yep.
okay. Are there any questions or comments, councilors or commissioners? All right. Oh, yes, Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Nicole. I had the opportunity to be a judge this year, and it was pretty remarkable. So thank you for the experience. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Am I good?
I don't
Okay,
see any.
not from you? Okay.
I'm assuming if you have a parent organization, that you probably have alternate sources of funding.
We do. We have a very fiscally responsible funding team, but yeah.
Thank you. Next is Christine Koss of Regency Retirement Residence of Laramie. Good evening. Good to see you.
Yep, Mayor, councilors, commissioners. This is Katrina, and I'm Christine, and we represent the Regency. For 3 decades, Regency has served Laramie seniors in the independent living capacity. We are a nonprofit, and we are self-sustaining. We are now taking the next steps. We're pursuing what the original visionary set out to do 30 years ago, which was to include assisted living. Our mission is to fill a much-needed gap in Laramie with senior housing and senior care. Numbers already show that Laramie does not have the capacity for the population of its seniors, and the population keeps growing. Our solution, a Laramie-centered, a senior-centered, one campus, assisted living facility, all at a nonprofit price.
So I've been asked to talk a little bit about where we are in this process. At this point, we have really done quite a bit of planning to start a campaign so that we can raise the money to do this. We have made some strong progress towards getting started with a capital campaign. Our feasibility study is complete and shows a strong early support for this project. We have a new case statement that is resonating well with our communities. We're engaging our community stakeholders in meaningful conversations that are generating new interests and partnerships. And we feel that we are on the right path and ready to move forward with confidence. With our funding request, we are asking for community investment in moving forward with our campaign to support seniors with this new assisted living center. This, for us, will include educating the community about the need for the continuum of care and executing our campaign so that we can build this resource for our Laramie community to thrive.
Our vision is to be financially self-sustaining just like we are now. We're just asking for some help to get there. Our vision is also to keep more seniors and their working children in Laramie. Our vision is to provide less transitions for seniors at a time that can already be challenging. We believe Laramie seniors deserve to age in the community that they built. We believe hardworking people of Laramie should be able to have their families age near them. We're taking the next steps. We've hired this wonderful capital campaign director, Katrina, and she is just blowing it out of the water. And we invite all of you and all of Laramie to be a part of this much-needed project for seniors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilors, commissioners, questions or comments? Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Thanks so much for the presentation and the information. It's definitely a need in the community. I am just curious as to how much you all anticipate the capital. I realize this funding does not go to the capital campaign, but how much you anticipate the capital campaign coming to?
So we're anticipating a capital campaign of between $5 and $6 million, and we're anticipating that there may be a need for some additional financing that would take us to $7 million if $7 million is the total construction cost at the end of the day. We're still looking for some validation in our capital construction costs, but we anticipate that the capital construction will cost between $5 to $7 million for an expansion on our current building. So the building that we have right now will continue to be an independent living building, and we're going to be adding a wing for assisted living so that we can have graduated care within our community.
Thank you. Any further questions? Commissioner Hoff.
Is this construction or the future construction held separately than the 501c3 that Regency currently, or are they intermingled?
This is a separate 501c3. They will be somewhat intermingled in a shared service sense so that we can keep costs low, but they will be separate.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Next, from Cathedral Home, Teresa Ahrens and Rachel LeBeau. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, thank you. Hi everyone, thank you for having us. My name is Rachel LeBeau and this is my colleague Teresa Ahrens. We're excited to be here with you this evening to talk about the Laramie Youth Crisis Center and our Community Resource Center. Both of those programs are what we would consider to be a prevention service, which is something people say a lot in the nonprofit world, but I think what it really comes down to is that it just exists to keep problems from getting worse. They both are services that give people the care they need when they need it, and so problems don't escalate and crises can be managed rather than turning into long-term difficulties for families. Something that I wanted to share with you that we've been talking a lot about as a team this year is that the number one protective factor against suicide is having access to the right type of care and being connected, whether that means to your family, to the community around you, or to some type of social service. And it's important for us to point out that the Laramie Youth Crisis Center and the Resource Center offer both of those things to people in our community. And last year, thanks to our community partner funding, we were able to support 541 individuals with those types of services.
So that 541 individuals, the commitment from the community partner funding is about 77% of the families we served through all of our programs. We have 5 programs, and these are just 2 of them. Last year, together, all of our programs served about 700 families. So this is a significant number of families served through this particular funding. There are a number of ways that we measure success and progress, and I'll just touch real quickly on each of these programs. The Youth Crisis Center, we look at crisis rating decreases, and I think what this shows is that families in crisis are finding access and they're finding belonging, those 2 protective factors. And through the Resource Center, not only do families find connection through case management, through parenting classes, through resource connection, but they're getting life skills, resilience, which equals self-sufficiency. And ultimately, with with these 541 families being served through this funding last year, I think any one of us, if we were approached by a neighbor that was in a critical moment of their life and needed help navigating, we would all help navigate, and that's what this funding does, is help a lot of families navigate, and so this funding does matter.
Thank you very much. Councilors, commissioners, yes, Councilor O'Doherty.
I've been reading about the Epstein victims, and a lot of them were runaways, and they're just so vulnerable at that point. Do our high school students know that don't run away, go here? Do they know that? Is that something that is taught at the high school?
We sure do try to publicize that. We have a number of youth each year who bring themselves to the crisis center. And we also have a good relationship with our law enforcement, where if they come across a child who's run away, whether locally or not, oftentimes the place that they come is the crisis center.
Thank you. Further, Councilor Freed.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you both for your presentation. Just a quick question. I noticed that the requested amount from the city is different than the county. I didn't know if you guys had just a quick description of why one's 30,000 versus 20,000. Oh, you're just capped at 20.
That's the reason.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is from the Developmental Preschool and Daycare Center, Jamie Stein. Good evening.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Cumbie, Chairwoman Jones, council members, and commissioners, for the opportunity to come and talk to you guys tonight. I just wanted to give you kind of a brief overview of developmental preschool. I think most of you are familiar with my spiel, so I've tried to shorten it down a little bit. We provide childcare for children birth to 12 years old in 2 separate facilities. We have our daycare and preschool facility that serves up to 5 years old, and then we have our after-school facility that serves kiddos that are kindergarten through 5th grade with after-school or out-of-school care. So we are open when the school is not, giving all of those kiddos somewhere to be, which is necessary in any community. But the biggest part of what we do is our early intervention and special education services for kids with disabilities. So we serve children birth to 5 years old under a federally mandated program through the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Part C is for those kiddos that are birth to 3 years old, and Part B is for those preschool students. We provide developmental screenings, vision, hearing screenings to any child birth to 5 throughout the entire county. If those screenings, or if we get a referral from a medical provider saying that there might be a concern, we do comprehensive evaluations to look in depth at that child. And if those evaluations show that there is in fact a disability or delay, we provide early intervention for those kids birth to 3 or special education services for those preschoolers in an educational placement for the preschool kids. So we put them into a preschool environment free of charge for the time that they need to receive their special ed services. Again, all of those services, early intervention, special education, are free of charge to the families because we are contracted by the state of Wyoming to do it. The next slide, I wanted to provide just kind of a quick look at our funding and kind of where our funding comes from. The 2 bigger chunks at the bottom, and this is percentage over time from 2020 to current. You'll see that's our Part B and Part C services. So that's the big chunk of what we do. That next level up that's kind of a lavender color is our tuition that's paid by parents, and you'll see that that's kind of shrinking over time. And that's because we're identifying more and more children with special education needs that are taking away from spots that our tuition paid parents had been paying in the past. So it really has had an impact on our tuition funding from that perspective. And this graph shows the total number of kids that we have identified with special education needs over about 13 years. You can see it kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit here and there, and then since COVID, really in the last 3 years, we've seen this huge increase. That that increase is a 20% increase over what we had traditionally been seeing. So we're really seeing a big need, and that is carrying through to the school district as well. So it's not just us, but it is a really big need that we're providing in the community. We're serving about 233 kids now with special education needs, birth to 5, which is amazing in our community. So just quick benefits to the community: childcare on a sliding scale fee for families with lower income. We have about 250 slots total. And then we do the developmental services, tuition assistance to our community.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much. Councilors, commissioners, questions or comments? Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jamie. Quite a big increase from 22-23 to, this year and projected for next year. What do you attribute to that? Would that be just more availability for your program or recognition, or I'm just curious?
Several things. One thing that happened in 2023 was legislation passed to create plans of safe care for newborns that were born exposed to drugs in utero, that were premature, low birth weight. They get automatic enrollment into Part C services now, so it takes away it allowed those infants to now receive services that they didn't traditionally automatically receive. So we've seen a big increase in our Part C numbers, but we're also seeing a larger increase in social emotional needs in the preschool level. Those coming out of COVID, they weren't in daycare, they weren't exposed to their peers, and so they're really struggling learning how to interact with their peers when they get into an educational environment.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, representing BikeNet, Kristen Pritchett and Teddy Friedman. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Teddy Friedman. This is Kristen Pritchett. On behalf of the Laramie Bicycle Network and in collaboration with the Albany County School District and the Laramie Police Department, we propose support for implementing a bicycle safety education program in the elementary schools across the district and within city limits. The justification for the program is supported by data. According to WYDOT's county crashes involving a pedestrian by year report for Albany County, 70% of crashes occurring between 2020 and 2024 resulted in serious injuries, and 29% were classified as critical. This trend is consistent with statewide data. Youth-specific data further underscore the urgency of this issue. WYDOT's Highway Safety Report, analyzing data from 2017 to 2021, found that nearly 1 in 4 pedestrian-involved crashes involved a school-aged child, with 30% occurring during school commute times. Even more concerning, 81% of these incidences resulted in serious injuries. Similarly, bicycle safety data revealed that approximately 39% of bicycle-involved crashes involved school-age riders, with 25% occurring during school commutes. Of these, 92% resulted in serious crashes, indicating an extremely high level of vulnerability for youth cyclists. Together, these data demonstrate that a substantial proportion of pedestrian and bicycle crashes involve children, and the high rates of serious injury further emphasize the need for early intervention and targeted education.
Our program plans to initially target the 6 schools within city limits, with hopes to expand to Rock River, Centennial, and Harmony as we figure out logistics. Our program is modeled highly after Fort Collins and their Safe Routes to School bike safety curriculum, which they've had for over 20 years, almost 20 years in Poudre Valley District. We've spoken extensively with the head of that program at the city of Fort Collins, and they've been more than willing to provide us with their curriculum. The program goals are to teach essential bike safety skills, promote healthy, active lifestyles, encourage independent, self-propelled transportation, reduce preventable injuries among youth, and build lifelong habits in the youth of our children here in Albany County. Our program, initially the rollout will target kindergarten to 2nd grade. The delivery team will be BikeNet, the Laramie Police Department through Chip Cirillo, who already does the rec center bike safety curriculum, and the Albany County School District PE teachers and extension team, all of whom we've spoken with, as well as Kate Kniss and Randy Wilkerson at the main office. The instruction format is a 1 hour of curriculum-based safety instruction in the classroom, and then a hands-on bike rodeo out in parking lots. The main ask here is to supply equipment, and that will be implemented through a bike cargo trailer, which will house a fleet of bikes that will rotate between the schools that will be mobile, and then as well as the equipment, the actual bikes, and then things like cones. We also, a big part of this program is paying a bike mechanic. We encourage the students to bring their own bikes in. So the program will also put into bikes that may not otherwise be in service for our youth, because that is a big ask for parents, and not just time, but also resources. The curriculum
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I have to be the timekeeper. Yes. I hate to be rude. Councilors and commissioners, any questions or comments? Commissioner Huff.
Just because I'm looking at your list of accounts, and I'm going to ask you guys the question, would this exist without tax dollars from the 5th cent? And then I understand you're also wanting to purchase a trailer. It looks like you're operating at a loss. Is that?
This is the first year that this program we're going to use. We didn't want to solely rely on the city and county for this. So we have 1/6 of the program funded already through Ivinson. However, if we don't meet the target goal for the entire program, we will not be able to implement it this year. But we are optimistic so far, based on reception from the groups that we have approached, that we will be able to meet that goal.
Thank you. Commissioner Gosar.
Thank you, Mayor Cumbie. I have a couple of bikes sitting outside my house that I would love to donate. Will you guys take donations if I get it working right?
That's a good question.
I think we will, and the Laramie Police Department through campus has also volunteered to give us some of the bikes that would be appropriate sizes that they do an auction every year, but sounds like, so yes, I think we will.
We'll take it.
Thank you. Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you both for the presentation. Just curious if this is also a project that you're putting in front of the school district in advance of their budgeting process, and if they're able to contribute financially as well.
That is a good question. We have talked with Kate Kniss and Randy Wilkerson, but have not approached them for specific budget contributions.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, and thank you for all the work and for trying to promote youth safety. That's so important. Thank you. Next will be ARC Regional Services, Bob Sell, and I don't know if there's a signal I could do so you know there's like 30 seconds, but if it's okay, at 3 minutes, I'm going to interrupt you.
Is that just for me? Because, you know, I can introduce myself for 3 minutes?
I have served on committees with you.
Honorable Mayor, councilors, commissioners, for the past 63 years, ARC Regional Services has provided support and assistance for individuals with developmental disabilities and acquired brain injuries. Our services are diverse and individualized. We do this with 9 group home environments for high-needs individuals that are staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Our supported living program for folks who are more independent, 4 to 6 hours a day of services in 25 low-income, accessible apartments that we own and operate. A comprehensive education program that builds skills for independence, improves daily living skills, and develops job readiness skills, and our employment program that helps people get jobs in our community. Our goal is that people can live as independently as possible as contributing members of our community. We do this by providing 240,000 hours of direct care every year. And until somebody invents a way to provide human services without humans, it is always going to be expensive. Direct support professionals assist people with cooking and cleaning and personal hygiene, communication, complex relationship issues, transportation, medications, assisting people at medical appointments, and dealing with health issues at home. They are a person's emotional and physical support system. often dealing with physical and verbal aggression and co-occurring mental health issues. Recruiting and keeping well-trained direct support professionals will always be our biggest challenge. We love what we do, and I think we're pretty good at it. And so what we're really asking is that you help us do that. And before I leave you, I have to tell you this. As I ran home today to put this coat on, because I always want to look nice for you folks, I did find something in the pocket, and this is honest to God truth. These are the notes, and I found these from a celebration of life that we had recently for an individual that we supported who passed away. I just want to read you one sentence. Debbie was an amazing person who touched the lives of everyone who knew her. It has been an honor to support Debbie for the past 38 years. People don't leave our program. The citizens that we support at ARC are always going to need some level of support, and we are happy to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Councilors, commissioners, questions or comments? I just want to say that recently we had an open meeting for council, and one of your a young woman who is a client came. She wanted to present an issue to the council. Her care provider came with her for support, and she did a beautiful job of coming before the city council and presenting the issue that she wanted solved, and it was a good one. So thank you.
Honorable Mayor, it's what we want, is we want community citizens who are active contributing members. So thank you.
You're impressed.
Thanks.
Thank you. And next is Home on the Range Animal Haven, and Pam Brecken. Good evening.
Good evening. And I'm bringing my own timer, so hopefully I can zip through this in 3 minutes. I want to thank all of you for being here and spending some space with me and listening to me. We are entering our 14th year of being the first and only large animal sanctuary in Albany County. We're very proud of that. And this year we are asking for $7,000 from each of you, and I will answer your question right off the get-go, Commissioner Huff. Without your funding, it would be a struggle for us to continue on. We anticipate an increase in hay prices this year just because of squigglies falling off the trees in March and 90-degree weather and wind and whatnot. So we do anticipate the cost of hay to increase a lot this year. That's why we kept our $7,000 request. It really does make a difference, your funding. We are funded by community donations. We do fundraising events throughout the year, our fun fair, our raffles, some other things, and also the grants that we receive from you, WYO Gives and whatnot. One correction to my application, we have 17 animals right now. Jesse, one of our big horses, passed away a couple weeks ago, so that kind of stinks. But it's part of our animal nest. So now we have 2 big horses, 4 ponies, 5 donkeys, 5 goats, and a sheep, and you can see them on the pictures there. They're all happy. They've all had some rough beginnings, and they will live with us forever. They're not adoptable. We are deeply invested in this community, and we have many intersectionality points. We work with people from young to seasoned adults like myself and everywhere in between. We provide opportunities that are unique only to Home on the Range to these people. We work with at-risk youth who complete projects. They gain social skills. They learn team building. They learn self-confidence. We work with schools, grade schools, youth groups, University of Wyoming kiddos. They all come out and they help with us cleaning up the barnyard, grooming the animals, mending fences, whatever we need, and they all benefit from it. In my application, I have a note there about mental health issues in Wyoming. I've heard a lot of that tonight, and one of the benefits that we provide is mental health stability for clients that come out. They hang out with the animals, no judgment. They all benefit from it. So in closing, I am asking for your support again this year. Like I said, it really does make a difference. We're all on hard times right now, and especially with the weather and hay situation. it makes a difference. And it'll help us continue our mission of supporting companion animals' well-being and the humane interaction with them while providing sanctuary, assistant, emotional, and physical rehabilitation and education for all of them.
Thank you, Pam.
8 seconds over, sorry.
That's okay. Any questions or comments? Counselor Newman. My mind just went.
Someone there.
The only school I didn't hear you say was Wyotech. Do we go out and do we bring
You
students?
have been, yes. We have had several groups out there that come out. A couple years ago, we received a grant through the Community Foundation for Windbreak, and your students came out and actually helped assemble that. We also work with Big Brothers Big Sisters, our Cathedral Home. First Interstate Bank came out a couple years ago and built that shelter there in the pouring rain, and so yeah, we really do have a lot of intersectionalities, and we couldn't function without everyone in the community.
Make sure to get a hold of the student services because they're always looking for people to go out and
Come and help,
with.
and yeah, and your students are fantastic.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments?
If anyone wants to come see the animals, let me know.
Okay, thank you, Pam.
Mayor?
Yes?
I'm going to recuse myself for this next applicant.
Oh, yes, I
Employee of
understand.
the organization. Thanks.
Thank you, Counselor.
Bye, Will. I'll keep it brief.
Good evening, Sean.
Hi, thank you so much. Before we do begin, this is something that we like to do at all of our productions, and this is for everybody in the room as well and those who are at home watching. If you'll indulge me, I'd like us all just to breathe together, in and out twice. So if you could breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more time for good measure, in. See who actually did it, out. Thank you. I am Sean Coyle, the Artistic and Executive Director for Relative Theatrics. We are in the very end of our 13th season of theater. We bring contemporary, relevant plays to the fine folks of Laramie and southeast Wyoming, and some folks who take the journey up from Colorado. We are asking for funding to continue on our work in our 14th season. We have done some season selection, and I think we're pretty close to knowing what we're going to do. But before that, I wanted to give you a breakdown of the numbers that we've done so far this last season. We had over 840 audience members at our shows and readings. We have 242 students in our playwright program. That's our arts education program that we do for fifth graders in 5 schools across the county, including Rock River. We had 60 paid positions, that's actors and designers, so we're helping to support the creative and cultural community that we have here in Laramie. We partnered up with 10 different community organizations. Each of our productions, we try and do that so that we can take the larger themes of the shows that we have and take them from the seats out into connections within the streets. It's a way that we can foster different community organizations with our community members at large. The thing that we do so well is that we have intimate theater settings, what I like to call spitting distance theater. So from here to you, Mayor Cumby, is about where your performers will be, and it makes a big difference for us to really see each other and to kind of connect to these larger cultural themes so that we're connecting to our own larger humanity. So we're very, very grateful for the support that we've received over the years, and we hope that we can have it again. Any questions that you have about the work that we do, or that one big question?
Okay, thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Councilors, commissioners. Commissioner Huff.
I'll ask, knowing that you do have revenue and do have ticket sales and that kind of thing, but I think it's important for the community to know where their tax dollars are going, especially this year, since everything is on the ballot this year. So it's not necessarily for my edification, but for the community at large, for that information to get out there.
Absolutely, and I do appreciate the question. Yes, we will continue as an organization in the arts. We have to be kind of scrappy about the way in which we go about doing the things that we love to do. A thing that I'm very proud of is that everybody who's involved with our productions does get some kind of financial compensation. It's nowhere near fair, but it's something that we're trying to offer, and as we climb, we try and raise, and so this next year we are trying to raise our 2 part-time positions that we have to a higher amount. So the answer is we will be able to continue on, but we, of course, always like the support that we can get from the county and from the city.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Jones.
Thank you very much for what you do.
Oh,
sorry. That's okay. I forget I need to use this. Thank you very much for doing the theatrics. It's fantastic. I love to go to them, and especially when it's in close proximity, that makes it really nice. And so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Shameless plug, we do have one more show this season. Cry It Out will be over at the Cooper Center, April 17th, 18th, and 22nd through 25th. I'm gone.
thank you, Sean. That was a good one. As we continue with Laramie Plains Civic Center, Jessica Brower, I would like to tell you all we are on number 11, and at number 19, we will take a little break so we can just get up for 7-8 minutes, and then we'll return. But we will be doing that. Good evening, Jessica.
Evening. You've added so many amenities to this process. Thank you. You all should have received an impact report from me. This has some details about who we're serving. I want to start by answering the big question first. With a budget like ours, it could appear that the funding from the city and the county is kind of only a drop in the bucket, but I want to assure you that that funding is very critical to the well-being of the work that we're doing, and is a challenge in a building of our size. Your funding together can maybe pay a couple of gas bills for a building of that size, and it makes a huge difference. And while I do believe in the strength of our team and our community, and people continue to show up in ways that are amazing, we could figure it out without the funding, but it helps a lot. So as you know, and you've heard from me often, we're not just a building, we're an infrastructure provider. We house over 95 tenants ranging from nonprofits like United Way and Parents as Teachers to emerging local artists and small businesses. And the funding we're requesting today serves as a critical bridge. It allows us to keep our doors open and our rates as low as possible, which includes a 20% rent relief for all nonprofits who are renting office space or event space. And so that means organizations like Wyoming Children's Law and the Wyoming Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault can spend their precious budget on their families and the cases that they're serving, not on our electric or gas bill or property maintenance. Furthermore, organizations include many folks who are in this room, people like Climb Wyoming, Laramie Public Art Coalition, Common Outdoor Ground, who can all access gathering spaces to support their clients, host their events, and continue to serve their mission and our community. As you all know, we operate in a many hands philosophy. We don't aim to compete with other nonprofits, especially those that are in our building. Rather, we aim to provide a stage for them to succeed. So whether we're providing our 2,300 annual hours of free indoor play for families and adults who want to play during our long winters, or partnering to bring you community events, we fill in the gaps that others can't. We serve as the backstage support that makes Laramie a cultural capital of Wyoming. So in the coming year, these funds will directly support the preservation of our historic building through preventative and deferred maintenance of the 100-plus-year-old property. This funding ensures that the building remains safe for the thousands of individuals and visitors who walk through our doors every day of the year. So by investing in the Civic Center, you're investing in a force multiplier that supports hundreds of different organizations and thousands of residents of Laramie in one single location. Thank you so much for your continued partnership and for keeping this historic anchor standing strong and as vibrant as possible. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jessica. Councilors, Commissioners, questions or comments? Yes, Councilor O'Doherty.
It wasn't until I was sitting at Sunshine Coffee seeing a bunch of toddlers going in to use the South Gym that I understood in the wintertime, a place that you can let a bunch of toddlers roam and ride their little cars. It's a great service, and I understand that's just part of the free, and you're allowing sports teams and things. So I appreciate what you're doing, not just for the arts, but for recreation, because it's nice to have a non-windy place to recreate sometimes. Thanks.
Yeah, our family services, I believe, also support the arts. There's people who come there who are working and need to have their kiddo run off some steam, and so we're happy to provide that, and the baby parade, as I call it, which is always fun to see.
That's very heartwarming. Councilors, commissioners, other questions or comments? Commissioner Hoff.
What is your occupancy rate? Is it hovering right around
It's like 95 to 98. Right now, we have one room that is open that is available for people.
I just want to say that the community center has truly become a community center, and I find myself visiting there probably at least 3 times a week, whether for a meeting and a coffee or actually going to various offices to visit with people who are housed there. So it really is a valuable place. Thank you very much. And our next presenter is Pilot Hill and Sarah Brown Matthews. Good evening, Sarah.
Good evening, Mayor Cumbie and commissioners and councilors. Thank you for your time this evening. I'm going to turn on my little timer. I have been thinking about this idea of community partnership since this grant was written. I loved your question, Commissioner Hoff, because quite frankly, we wouldn't exist without the partnership of the city and the county. We are a nonprofit that was formed because the community said, yes, we want to preserve this land. We care about the aquifer, we care about access to open space, and we care about the mental health benefits of this landscape. And that's the only reason we have a nonprofit and we were formed. I have to honestly say that Pilot Hill has become, in the past 6 years, one of the most used and most valued community assets in Albany County. And your funding is not a subsidy for us. It is critical. It's a catalyst that demonstrates that to the community that the city and the county are our foundational partners, and that we are able to use that then to attract corporate and individual and foundation support for Pilot Hill. I don't have any, you can just change whenever you want. Our request really does directly meet our ability for non-negotiable obligations. That's the lease and the liability insurance that is required for Pilot Hill. It also makes it so that this area is accessible year-round for free to every member of our county and beyond. It addresses physical and mental health issues. It helps with the education of our youth. We have tremendous use by youth and research and educational programming going on out there. The economic impact that it makes in our community is substantial. Over 150 jobs are supported, and over $1.5 million in tax revenue comes in because of Pilot Hill. And our environmental stewardship of the aquifer is beyond measure. I do ask that you continue to think about how Pilot Hill is the largest regional park in this area, and it truly needs your funding and your support. With your help, we will take that money and use fundraising to grow other programming and make sure that we're free and open year-round. Are there questions I can answer?
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioners, councilors, questions or comments?
Thank you. We're honored to be one of your partners.
Okay, thank you. Next, the Laramie Public Art Coalition, Hannah Rogers. Good evening, Hannah.
Good evening. So I'm Hannah, and I'm here on behalf of LPAC, Laramie's Public Art Group, and our goal is cultivating joy, belonging, and curiosity through public art. And I want to start with the next slide, talking a little bit about our programming and what we've been up to in 2025. We had a lot of programming this last year. We had 500 participants in our different events. We paid $71,000 to over 90 artists. One of the projects that we work really closely with the city on is this 3rd Street beautification project. So we were really involved in artist selection and then artist support, helping the artists when they come to town, making sure they really get to learn our community and what our community wants to see as we make 3rd Street a place that is beautiful and we all want to spend time at. Another project that we worked on is this creative aging project. So this was with a grant from the Wyoming Arts Council, where we were able to hire 2 local artists to do 8-week-long classes with 55-plus aged members. There was a ceramics class and then a textiles class that made this beautiful piece that's now hanging in the rec center. It's inspired by Yellowstone. I really encourage everybody to go look at it. And at the unveiling of this art piece, we heard so many really supportive comments around how important this class was for building community. I heard so many people saying, like, we need to stay in touch. This group of retirees really just enjoying each other and building community in that art space. The Laramie Jubilee Day banners was another project we did with the city, where we brought 20 artists and had them design banners that went up around Laramie. We're getting ready to auction these banners off at the Art Shed opening. And then, of course, we always have workshop series. These are series of workshops led by different artists, all from our community. For a lot of artists, this is their first time teaching a class, and they get a lot of support from Laramie Public Art Coalition in how do you teach a class, how do you recruit participants. One of us always comes to these classes to make sure they have the support they need, and a lot of them have gone on to teach more and more classes in our community. I think there's a quilting on the left where people are making coasters, and on the right we're making ceramic earrings and pendants. And so many people in Laramie have found friends and community through these really low-cost art workshops. The Optimist Art Shed is another project that we've done with support from the city and county. And this art space we use to host different workshops and art events, and we'll be hosting an official opening for it in May as we get started planning our summer art workshop series. All right, and here's just some other pictures of a bunch of things that we've worked on. The moose out front was a project that we worked on. A lot of different summer programming, Winterfest, things like that. This last year, we did lose our executive director. She moved on, and because of some uncertainty with federal funding, we haven't yet been able to replace that position. So this money would be really helpful to us in helping us hire somebody to manage all of this programming. The board has really stepped in the last few months, but having another staff person, a community support person, would be really helpful to us. Thanks.
Thank you, Hannah. Commissioners, councilors, questions or comments? All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Our next is the Foundation Builders Community Center, and Tim Snowbarger and Michaela Atkinson. Hello, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Tim Snowbarger, and I'm here with our program manager, Michaela Atkinson, representing the board and the staff of the newly built Foundation Builders Community Center out on Soldier Springs Road. We appreciate the work this council does to strengthen partnerships and with local nonprofits and support services that improve the quality here in Albany County. Foundation Builders was created to provide structured, educational, and healthy opportunities for youth and families in our community. Albany County has a population of nearly 15 to 18% under the age of 18. That represents thousands of young people whose well-being directly impacts the future and strength of our workforce, our public health system, and our community as a whole. According to Wyoming youth data, only about 1 in 4 adolescents meet the recommended daily physical activity levels. Additionally, nearly 1 in 3 reports persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness in rural communities like ours, especially during the long winters. Access to safe, structured, and year-round programming is limited. Foundation Builders Children's Nonprofit was created to help close that gap. Recently, we saw the survey from the City of Laramie for community interest and opinion in our Parks and Rec Department, and Foundation Builders would like to partner with the city and county to adjust some of those answers on that survey. We built a 37,000 square foot facility out on Soldier Springs Road designed to serve youth and families through safe sports, life skills and trade education, nutrition programming, and community gatherings. However, while the structure's in place, our programs remain incomplete. In addition to these educational spaces, we provide year-round athletic programming with a goal of serving at least 5,000 youth annually. Structured supports and recreation promote physical health, teamwork, discipline, and leadership, and all protective factors that reduce risky behaviors and increase positive engagement. Through community support and private donations, we've already built a facility and opened many areas for programming, such as our boxing club, our fitness classes, mindfulness programs, memberships for the fitness gym, basketball, pickleball, and spaces available for rent for gatherings and meetings, as well as creative partnerships with local churches and athletic programs. The funding we're requesting today will be used specifically to complete our equipment, our wide range of sports programming to make this space fully operational for the people of Laramie, hosting tournaments and providing healthy engagement for families, widening with that lack of City of Laramie. This is not about expanding a new building. It is about activating the potential of a facility that is already serving the community that cannot yet operate at full capacity. When complete, we plan to serve hundreds of youth and families each year by integrating physical health, workforce development, education, and mentorship under one roof. By helping us complete these unfinished sports programs, you're not just funding equipment, you're helping us unlock opportunities for youth development, stronger families, and more resilient community. Your support will help us turn this facility into a fully active community space for Laramie. We want to thank you for your time. Be honored to partner with the city and the county. If this is the first you're hearing about the Foundation's Community Center, or if you haven't had the chance to come take a tour, please let us know. We'd love to show it to you. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Tim and Michaela. Questions of Vice Mayor Richardson.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. I appreciate it. So looking at the application, this would be for a commercial kitchen. And just wanted to note that, and it looks like kind of a potential programming around nutritious eating, exercise, and that sort of thing would go along with this. Just wanted to share that there's also a potential opportunity through the Rural Health Transformation Fund at the state level, once they actually figure out if they can negotiate with CMS, but that there is a portion of that is set aside for nutrition programs that would benefit folks. So that might be something that you look into as well, if that ends up working out as it's supposed to.
Thank you. Further, Commissioner Hoff.
Tim, good evening. I have to ask, is there a religious affiliation with this organization?
There is. It is just Christian in nature. It's not affiliated with any particular church or organization, too, but it is a Christian nonprofit. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Further questions or comments? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Next, Greater Wyoming Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and Hannah. Good evening, Hannah.
Good evening. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you being here to hear a little bit about our programming and what we do here in Albany County. Our mission at Big Brothers Big Sisters is to create and support mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth, and our vision is that all youth will achieve their full potential. Studies indicate that the #1 predictor in whether a child develops the resilience they need to thrive regardless of their circumstances is whether or not they have a caring adult relationship in their life, and our goal is to make sure that every child has that opportunity. Here in Albany County, we approach that several different ways. We have our traditional one-to-one mentoring program where we match adult volunteers in the community with young people in need. We also have after-school programming at Slade, Spring Creek, Montessori, and Linford. We have after-school programming for middle schoolers and high schoolers that takes place at our facility over by Undine Park. And we also have juvenile justice programming that we operate in partnership with the county attorney's office. So we have a little bit of a different approach to how we're working with all of those kiddos, but the focus is the same on providing that caring adult relationship who's there to be a support system. Like Tim mentioned, stats are pretty alarming right now as far as mental health goes for young people, and it's certainly something that all of us are trying to do our best to address. Last year we served about 430 kids here in Albany County. across the various programs and things like that. Kids in mentoring relationships tend to do better in school. They're more engaged in their classrooms. They get along better with peers and families. They have better attitudes towards avoiding risky behavior. They're less likely to engage in substance abuse, more likely to develop healthy physical and mental health habits that last into adulthood, and have higher goals for themselves and their futures and believe that they're going to be able to achieve those things. So those are the things that we're holding ourselves accountable to when we work with kids, regardless of how we're working with them. Our request for you would go to supporting those programs and making sure that we're able to continue operation. Just to get ahead of your question, we would be able to operate without the funding, but we certainly, and I think everybody can probably attest to the fact that there's little cuts everywhere that add up to large impacts and large cuts. So we would certainly be able to continue operating, but we also always have a waiting list and are looking to serve more kids and families in our community. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Hannah. Vice Mayor Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you, Hannah. Outside of Big Brothers Big Sisters, if a young person is not participating in an after-school sport, it seems to me like there aren't many other options. Are there many other options? Are you guys kind of it? Is that why there's a waiting list for you all?
I am not aware of any other programs there's the program at the rec center that does after-school programming, and developmental does some after-school programming and things. But as far as those older kids, I don't know of any additional programming outside of the school extracurriculars that provides for middle school and high schoolers.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
Next, we'll hear from the Laramie Soup Kitchen. Ted Kramer. Good evening, Ted.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, and commissioners and council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. The Laramie Soup Kitchen had a banner year. We served about 35,000 hot meals, which is about 8,000 meals more than 2024. We also served an estimated 30,000 additional packaged meals. That means that we served 65,000 meals last year, which is a huge record for us. How we're able to do that is because our food recovery team, which is what we're asking for funding for this evening, we're asking for about 50% of the cost of those line items. It is 2 individuals who do this. They work in tandem, and last year they brought in about almost 200,000 pounds of food. Our request tonight is similar to last year's request. It's just more balanced between the 2 agencies of the city and the county. While we do not leverage our this funding for additional funds, additional grants, because of the type of our operation where we're not federally funded and we don't charge for our services, it doesn't mean that you're not going to see a return on investment. In fact, the value of the food that is recovered by our food recovery team is estimated to be worth between $800,000 and $1.2 million. And so by paying for about 50% of these positions, so the individuals who go around town to pick this up and then redistribute it to other agencies, you are actually seeing a return on investment between 12 and 18 times. You also have the compounding effect that you're paying for these 2 individuals, and so that you'll see their salaries going back into the community, which is always a plus. And as it turns out, pulled these numbers up for our board meeting I have tomorrow, we've been working to streamline our operations. Our year-to-year balance sheet for our expenditures is down $17,000. So we're working to streamline our operations, do things for less money, and this is a way for us to partner and continue the partnership.
Thank you, Ted.
Absolutely.
Commissioners, councilors, questions, comments? Councilor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ted. Just want to say I was able to go to the LCBA Awards banquet this past month. Congratulations on being Nonprofit of the Year. That's amazing. And then also just to say, yeah, I mean, to put it very lightly, 2025 was a really insane year for you guys, for Laramie Interfaith, and I just want to give you both a huge shout out for the service that you provided the community, for your continued partnership. I work in basic needs in my day job, and just seeing how you run your organizations is really impressive. So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Further comments or questions? Commissioner Jones?
Ted, thumbs up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And just a brief comment. The environment down at the soup kitchen is like going into a cafe or a restaurant. It is open to anyone who walks in. You walk up to the counter and you get a meal. I go down there and sit and talk to people, and I always run into people I know. And the desserts are delicious. And so, anyway, you think of soup kitchen and you think, well, ordinary, you're just going to get something that, suffices, but it's way beyond that. So thanks for all the effort, for how you organize things, and I just appreciate it. And I like coming down there, too.
That's great. You're all welcome. So, all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ted. Our next presentation is from Laramie Interfaith and Josh Watanabe. Good evening, Josh.
Thank you, Mayor. City councilors, county commissioners, convenient to follow after Ted. It was a big year on the food side. You can see the statistics. We're continuing to increase how much food that we're bringing in and distributing to the community. Over the course of the year, we will serve roughly 1,500 households, somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 individuals through our services. We do have to work through 3 different databases, so I can't give you exact numbers. We also distribute to, right now, about 12 other nonprofits, so our food goes out in that way. We work and partner with multiple nonprofits. Sorry, here it is closed. I hope you will take the time. On the back of that paper, there are some of the impact stories, the individuals that we actually work with. These are people that have gone into job training programs and have needed our assistance while they're learning how to do that job, and some of that. We also get referrals from lots of nonprofits. They're able to do one portion, but families need something else on that. But the demand is increasing. The reason we're doing so much food, the reason that we're trying to find and source so much food is because that demand does increase. Your funds, for the first time in quite a while, last year matched and helped us meet the state match for the ESG grant. That was $65,000 additional that we brought into the community. We have that coming in again this year. And all of that goes out directly as client aid. So this is the rent that we provide, the utilities that we provide, and that cost has skyrocketed here in the 2020s. We're seeing rents that are double what they were in 2020, 2021. It makes it really hard. We don't get a nonprofit discount on that. And so that's what we're asking for. We'll match that grant. We'll bring in those federal dollars. We'll continue to do that work. And the reason I'm trying to get through this really quick, because I know there's another bigger subject. If you're not already aware, within the next week or 2, we will finalize our partnership with Family Promise. We are bringing a portion of their staff over. We are bringing over the Family Promise name, their resources, and we are committed to running all of their programs. So that means that the diaper bank will still be operational. The kids closet will still be working. Family Promise, its specific program design and layout will continue to work, as well as all the other things. The reason that that's happening, though, is the work is hard. it's harder to do what we're doing with less and less each year. So now we're combining, and we're going to see what we can do to get more out to the community and continue to help. And I'm anticipating questions on the family promise thing, so that's kind of where I'm ending.
Thank you, Josh. Vice Mayor Richardson.
I do have a question on the family promise. I think, I mean, as difficult as it sounds that you're coming together because it is out of necessity right now, I feel like that this could be a really strong partnership and network for families in the community and hopefully for the two entities coming together. What is the space looking like? So I'll just leave it at that. What is the space looking like when this is coming together? Are you having to house now, interfaith housing to house the diapers and the other things?
Yes. At least for the immediate future, the kids' closet will stay. It is housed at the United Presbyterian Church, and they're allowing us to continue doing that for right now. Their staff will come over. Diapers will be stored on site. We'll have more, because we anticipate more people coming in than we normally see. The rest of it is in storage. Family Promise has been using storage. We'll continue to use that storage. But yes, the partnership is happening because otherwise Family Promise would no longer be continuing. They have access to Family Promise grants and some other resources that we want to keep coming into the community. It's anywhere between $20,000 and $60,000 a year that we can potentially bring in extra. So yeah, that's why. But the space will continue to operate. Everything will be housed out of Interfaith's office. Clients will just go to one place, one application, one agency for all of their needs related to housing. Not all of their needs, or we wouldn't be here. But.
Thank you. Further questions? Councillor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. So I see also up next is Celeste with Family Promise. And so is it my understanding that should these bodies grant funds to Family Promise through that application, those would still be for like Family Promise-esque like programs and services? Is that accurate? Okay, great.
Yeah, on advice from Nancy and Bailey, the city and the county respectively, because of the weird timing it's happening right now, they said, submit your applications individually, but it will be anything that's awarded to Family Promise will stay in the Family Promise program. Interfaith will stay with Interfaith. So.
Good question. Any further questions or comments? Okay, I just want to comment that I have accompanied a number of people to Interfaith who needed assistance, who were in trouble, and had never reached out for help and felt hesitant. And so I went with them, and they were treated with dignity, respect, going to get the groceries. There was great stuff there. Anyway, sometimes it's difficult for people to ask for help, and it's nice to have a place that's so welcoming, and I'm glad I've had that experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, interestingly, Family Promise.
Yes.
Celeste.
Hi, I'm Celeste Quinton, Executive Director over at Family Promise. I will talk fast because I'm sure you have a lot of questions bubbling in your head after Josh is chatting with you. But I do want to highlight the programs that Family Promise offers. So that first statistic right there is $44,000 that was directly funded to families. So that is paying families rent, paying utility bills, helping families in our shelter program. We also, through that program, the Diaper and Hygiene Pantry and the Wyoming Kids Closet reached over 700 kiddos in our community last year. I don't know about you guys, but 700 kids in a room sounds like a lot. So I've been thinking about that. And then we also reached 235 families through the Diaper and Hygiene Pantry. This is the first year we've actually had an individual number to track for that. So that is unduplicated families that came at least once in the year. Most families come twice a month, every month, to access that. And then the Kids Closet served 101 kiddos. That is about 1,000 pieces of clothing based on what those kiddos need. And this year, we're already seeing an increase. So we are through March, basically, and I'm already up to 300 items of clothing. And I think that'll only continue to grow as we're at Interfaith and more people know about us. So that is something I'm super excited to see about as we continue this move. And then I did want to reemphasize what Josh has said, that this transition is happening so we continue to bring in the resources of our national entity. So that does include those grant opportunities, but it also includes access to a network of 200 other family promises doing what we're doing. Other case managers we can talk to, client classes, and some opportunities to bring more education to our clients on their path to sustainability.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Celeste? I just want to comment that I appreciate the ingenuity and creativity of bringing resources together. I think it's really smart, rather than struggling to combine resources so you're not duplicating, you're just, combining your resources. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
And before we take a break, we will hear from the Laramie Railroad Depot Association, Sean Bullock. Is Sean here? Okay. All righty. Well, then we will take an 8-minute break. I'd like you back in your seats in 8 minutes. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's have order in the house. We've got some more great presentations to listen to. Thank you. So let's see. Our next presentation is for the good of Laramie, Lisa Evans. Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. Oh, my microphone wasn't on. I thought I felt like I was shouting, should I start over? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your donations from last year. We really appreciate the funding for that. Because you gave, we had our biggest event last year. We served over 1,200 people. Children and families came. We gave away over 400 backpacks full of school supplies, gave over 400 pairs of tennis shoes, and we served free Butcher Block hot dogs and free soda pit drinks. We make sure to stick to our heart mission, no matter how big it gets, no matter how many people show up. The importance is to make every child feel seen and cared for. They aren't a burden. They are here to be the star. We solidified that last year with a red carpet for the kids to strut their stuff after they got their new backpack and after they got their new shoes, and it was so fun to watch. After each event, I'm incredibly honored to receive feedback from volunteers and families who pull me aside and tell me the impact that it's had on their family. Like the mom who brought her 4 kids in to be fitted for shoes. The volunteer said it made her want to tear up from the moment that she noticed that each of them had holes in their shoes, and that each of those pairs were at least one size too small. The way that the kids' faces lit up when they got to pick a new pair of shoes. Their body language even shifted when their toes could wiggle. Then the volunteer noticed how the mom's face had transformed. Such relief, and the weight had been lifted off of her. It was so evident of the blessing that she had received from these shoes. Or the family who confessed that they don't live in a traditional poverty lifestyle. They have a big, beautiful home in a really nice side of town, but they've become house poor. Because of changes to their income due to health concerns, they don't have a whole lot to make ends meet when they've made their mortgage payment. They got to come and get new shoes and a backpack for their kids also. We don't ask for income qualification to participate in this event. We invite all families with kids kindergarten K through 12, all walks of life. We want them there. One of our unique features is to open up our backpacks to nonprofits and programs in town to make sure that the families of this town recognize the different programs that are there to serve them. We work alongside a lot of these nonprofits behind me, and I'm honored to be part of that.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Councilors, questions or comments? Commissioners? Yes, Councilor Newman.
Will you talk about, like in 30 seconds or so, Night to Shine and what that means to our community and what you guys do for that?
Thank you. So For the Good has decided to take on multiple different entities and ways that we can serve. The Night to Shine event was our first year in Laramie. We were able to serve over 200 people who came in that were adults, vulnerable adults with special needs. We gave them a prom, a night where they also were recognized. These are events I can get behind, where we make everybody feel like they are the star. We had a red carpet at that event also, and that was a really important night to be able to see people feel that presence and that they are wanted and that they are needed in our community as well.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Further comments or questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Please consider joining us August 15th for that event as well. We'd love to have you all there, even if you don't want to wash feet.
Okay, thank you. Our next is Skate Laramie, Josh Kaffer. Good evening, Josh.
Could I have the button? Oh, okay. Is it up? Oh. Is it coming up? Oh, I see. Oh, look at that. Sorry about that. Do we have the slideshow? Oh, we don't have the slideshow. Okay. Well, we have a picture of the thing. Hello, my name is Josh Kaffer. I'm here representing a thriving outdoor recreation community and our dream of a year-round home for personal growth and mentorship in Albany County. We are Skate Laramie. Every year we see our vibrant community recede with the weather. The motto is, if you shovel it, they will come, but only for a few minutes. We still shovel, but many of our unaccompanied youth we see in the summer simply lose access and don't return the next year. We see a feasible path to sustain and grow our vibrant community through the winter. In late 2024, we purchased land just south of Laramie. With your support over the last year, we have completed our feasibility study, business plan, building plan, and the initial stages of our capital campaign. We are a nonprofit whose members have been empowered by local government to build their dreams since the late 90s. Since 2014, we have been offering programming and spearheading hundreds of thousands of dollars in infrastructure investment. Wyoming is the best place for outdoor recreation. Skate parks offer the most accessible means for developing the body awareness needed for many of the flow sports we love. We offer a built-in community of friends and mentors and safe space to push personal limits. Passion and a cheap vehicle lead to a lifetime of enjoyment, perseverance, and creative problem solving. We have received a commitment of $250,000 in matching funds. 16,000 in additional commitments have been made, and we are actively pursuing major gifts, grants, and in-kind donations. We hope to get to 75% of our current goal before we begin our public campaign. We dream of beginning construction this fall. We're here today to ask both the city and the county to commit $5,000 toward the dream of a year-round home. These funds would be used in the next year to further our campaign and build this awesome infrastructure. Your support will be leveraged to enable completion of this project, and I'm happy to take questions. I apologize.
Thank you, Josh.
It didn't work out.
Thank you. Councilors, commissioners, any questions or comments? Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Josh. Just in lieu of the lack of the slideshow, can you just give us a little bit of a description?
So this was these are lovely, this is kind of our building. We're south of town. We own the land. We hope to own the building. We hope to have a very efficient building. We have 1,000 square foot of community space and 4,000 square feet of skate park space. Our hope is that we can have a nice solar gain from the south side. We've got 100 feet of, it's a 5,000 square foot building, 4,000 square foot skate park, and I'm missing a lot of information.
Thank you.
All right. Any further? Oh, Nancy.
Mayor, if I could just suggest that you could email that to council@cityoflaramie.org or clerk@cityoflaramie, and we'll make sure the county gets it as well.
Perfect. Yeah. Because there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, okay, very good. Any further questions or comments? All right, Josh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mayor Cumbie, I'm going to follow Councilor Bowling's lead and step out for this next one, all right?
Yes, Commissioner Gosar, thank you. Okay, our next presentation will be from the Downtown Clinic. Simona.
Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight and hearing all of our pitches to you all, and thank you for your partnerships within the community. I'm here on behalf of Downtown Clinic. I've been there for 2 years as the assistant director, and the Downtown Clinic has been around in Laramie as a free healthcare service for 27 years. Last year, we had a great rise in appointments, and primary care saw 1,500 in-clinic appointments. We also had a 6% increase from the year before, and we've been seeing about a 30% increase from 2020. So the need for healthcare in our community continues to rise, and having primary care providers on staff every hour that we're open allows us to see those in our community who need these services. The Downtown Clinic serves individuals who are aged 19 to 64, living at or below 200% of the federal poverty level and without insurance. There's this coverage gap of people in our community who make too much for Medicaid but not quite enough for the subsidies, and those are the people that we see while they try to get on insurance. The majority of our people do work, and our goal is to graduate them from the clinic. We do primary care, nursing, specialty care, counseling, foot care. We have volunteer physical therapists, orthopedic surgeon, or orthopedics. We have referrals for dental and vision emergencies. These are all some of our core programs. Last year, in clinic only, we produced over around $1.5 million in services to the community. This isn't referrals that we covered for our community, this is just what we did in the clinic. Additionally, there are studies that show that primary care helps prevent ER visits. So by having people come see us, we can have preventative care that helps avert somewhere between $200,000 to $500,000 in healthcare savings for our community. Our funding request is to help sustain our primary care provider who's there every hour that we're open, and I am open for questions.
Thank you, Simona. Councilors, commissioners, questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Simona. So, for example, say someone walks in for the first time, what kind of process do they have to go through to get your services if they're a first-time?
Yeah, so if you're a first-time person, our front desk staff, which is college students and volunteers in the community, they're going to ask you a few eligibility questions to make sure that you do meet our requirements. If you don't meet our requirements, maybe you make too much, or maybe you do have insurance, we'll refer you out to Albany Community Health Clinic, the Convenient Care Clinic at Ivinson. If you do meet those requirements, you'll meet with our social worker or a social work intern, get all of your health history in our system, and then we'll get you scheduled with a primary care provider as soon as possible. As soon as you meet with your primary care provider, typically they'll refer you out to get labs done, and then they can start the prescription medication program, which last year we did about $500,000 in prescription medications for free to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further? Thank you so much, Simona. Our next presenter, Wyoming singer-songwriters, John Gardaluski. Good evening, John.
I'll set my timer, see how this thing works. Quick, can I go back?
Yeah, to the left.
Okay. All right, thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members, commissioners. Happy to be here. My day job, I do architecture and solar and run a record store downtown, and this is one of my passion projects. I started the Wyoming Singer-Songwriters with a bunch of fellow musicians about 8 years ago, or 9 years ago, around a songwriting competition. It started in Laramie, and after 5 years in Laramie, it went statewide, and now we have a board of people from all over the state. I think of it more as a cult because people are so passionate about it, and really it's just like creating a community and culture here for Wyoming around the art of music. And so I've been a part of the music scene in this town for even longer than that, and at some point last year we decided let's merge these things together and do a big festival here in town. And so there's a proof of concept called the Snow Train Music Festival. We have a snow train, 2 words that describe Laramie very well. We got 10 music venues. This town has a plethora of good musicians that come through that live here, that would love to come here from around the state and around the region if they get more encouragement and more opportunities. A lot of great venues, supportive venues. And so kind of just took what was already happening, where we'd have 4 shows going on at the same time at once, and put it together and started promoting it. The idea is to do one big event. We did this last year. We had 90-something different performing acts, probably over 200 total musicians. I've done whatever research I can. This has been the biggest festival in the history of Wyoming already in its inception in terms of who's performed. Now, Garth Brooks played some year, whatever, there's more people in the audience, but this is helping the musicians, and this is helping all the little venues and spaces to kind of develop. This is going to be our second year doing it. We got overwhelming support. I'm just going to quickly flip through. This was our program. These are all the venues we had. Here's just one night at one place, one night at another place. Shelby Means, the headliner last year, is the Laramie Grammy Award winner. We got her to come back to town with her band for this. They're all Wyoming affiliated or artists. That doesn't have to be the rule, but that's just how it's been. Teenage Ball Rock, it's Ray Carlisle. It's playing Sunday night here in town. Just so you can see, I'm overwhelming you with all the performances. This happened over 2 days, and all of downtown was crawling with people. What we'd like to do with some more funding this year is be able to pay the bands a little better, promote it a little harder. All of these people descending on downtown, not for a football game, is really good for identifying Laramie as not just a football tourism, but music tourism. Hopefully becoming the music capital of Wyoming. We'd like to be able to afford some kind of headliners that have been too expensive in the past, and I would like to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Okay, any questions or comments? Councilor Lockhart.
Thank you, Mayor. When is it this year?
When I say I think, I'm waiting on one confirmation, October 9th. We're waiting on the football schedule to come out, and so we're avoiding a football schedule. And so it's looking like October 9th. It might be 3 days. If we have enough funding, it'll go do a 3-day weekend with it.
Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, John. I just want to say that as I got to play on stage during this festival last year, and it was just a really wonderful way to see the cultural community kind of galvanize around a weekend, and a great proof of concept. So best of luck.
Thank you. I wish I had more time.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Hospice of Laramie, Sarah Kirkland. Good evening, Sarah.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, Councilors. Jump to this next slide here. So to give just a couple 2025 in review, so last year we offered $35,000 in charity care. So that's a kind of a big component of the work that we do, is not turning anyone away due to inability to pay or status or anything like that. So we were able to do that. That's in our facility typically, so that covers them, their room and board in our facility. We served a little bit over 120 patients, 5,600 patient days. I have 38 employees. We had over 600 volunteer hours, and we currently have, after today, 11 board members instead of 10. The focus of our 2026 funding request is specifically on quality of life improvements. And so we have had many, many generous donors since the building opened in 2017 that have donated things like kitchen equipment, tableware, cookware, prepware, kitchen accessories, all of those things. However, what happens in time with those items is that they're mismatched. They're not necessarily safe for our clients. We have a lot of like clay plates. I watched some poor woman break like 3 plates and 2 cups all in the same day period. And so those kinds of things we're looking to replace and upgrade and do those things. It also includes some things for outdoor spaces. So on this next slide, I just wanted to kind of highlight a few of those items that are most important or most highlightable. So the top left is a new patio furniture set that is wheelchair height, so someone can roll their wheelchair up next to it and easily slide into one of those chairs, sit outside with their family, enjoy our beautiful spring that we seem to be having, and spend time out there. We also, many of people in hospice are still smokers, so this is kind of allows them a space to go, to enjoy outside, to be able to smoke, to be able to do those things as well. So in the middle of the top, that is a sectioned melamine plate, so this kind of allows for that. And one of my nurses brought up a really good point that all of the plates should be brightly colored because it's sometimes really hard to see white food on white plates. So mashed potatoes on a white plate is really hard to see. So she suggested getting bright colors. So this is the brightest color I can get in these plates, but looking at bright blue, bright red, bright orange, things like that. The little black thing there is a waterless diffuser for essential oils. So things like that are really important for providing comfort, lavender, orange, things like that, providing smells that really make people feel comfortable, happy at home. The top right, that is an accessibility fork, spoon, knife set. It's actually gyroscopic, so if someone's holding it and they're shaking, the spoon stays level and allows them to shake so that they can eat stably without that shaking affecting their eating. Digital picture frames to show off those family photos. Thank you.
Do you want to make a final statement? Or?
No, I think we're good. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much. Councilors, commissioners, questions or comments?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Jones has informed me that Sean Bullock is here. And Sean, if you want to come up and please present for Laramie Railroad Depot. Good evening, Sean.
Good evening. Thank you, Council and
Commissioners.
Commissioners. Geez, sorry. I just got into town from Fort Collins and I was driving about 85 miles an hour and my phone lit up and said, "You're due." So here I am. So with the Laramie Railroad Depot Association, what we're looking for funding for this year with the community partner grant is to get some get a little bit of help to increase security and surveillance in the depot, because we have an opportunity. I'm working with a gentleman from somewhere in Great Britain. I'm trying to think exactly where he is. His name is Peter, and he's put together this model that you can see right now. It's a H-scale railroad model, and it's built, designed around the 1940s Laramie rail yard. So this gentleman, even though he lives in Europe, had a daughter that went to school here. He came over, kind of fell in love with the place, fell in love with the railroad. He was kind of already a railroad nut, but he went back home and about 10 years ago built this display, which is about 12 foot wide, 12 foot long by about 5 foot wide. Weighs roughly 380 pounds. Him and I are working on getting it crated, and he is donating. So back up just a little bit. He is donating it to the depot. It's been appraised between as low as $250,000 and as high as $750,000. The artist and I are working on getting the crating in place, getting it packaged properly. It's already in a lot of tiny little boxes, but he's working on now getting it crated, and then we're working with a company out of Jacksonville, Florida, to see about getting it. We were going to ship it across the Atlantic, but we're going to actually try to see if we can get it flown over here. And then he's going to meet it in customs in wherever that may be, New York, Chicago, LA, and then drive it here, and then we're going to do a big project to get it built, which we expect to take about 48 hours. Sorry, still out of breath. And then we're going to do a big unveiling with the artist. But the biggest thing, we had this opportunity land in our lap a couple of years ago. The board wasn't quite ready for such an expensive piece. So we're looking for help with getting some cameras on it, getting a keypad entry system put into it, and making it really kind of part of the community. At that point, if there's any questions, that's about really all I remember coming up with.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Questions or comments?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Hoff.
Did we not fund some security last year?
You did. And I don't know if I think it was actually the year before last. But we did actually get a community partner grant with you guys, and what that went for, and we actually implemented that and then some, a Wi-Fi controller, door controller to get into the system, and a year's worth of software to use that. So we're using a system that we bid it out to about 3 places, and a group in Casper came down and installed it. They gave us they installed it for about $5,800 and billed me $2,500 for it. So I found a train nut that did security and worked out really well. So, but you are correct.
Commissioner Jones.
Sean, is this going to be in a separate building or room or what? Oh, I always forget to turn that on.
Nope. So I think that we've got 2 plans for it. We have in the museum, there's a corner in the northwest section of it that's already got a model train display. We're thinking of possibly relocating that into a spot where another one currently is, moving the older one into the caboose, that's where we actually have our modeling club meetings. They meet in there on Tuesdays in the caboose. So we're thinking of putting the smallest one there and the new one in the northwest corner
So
of the
this will
museum.
have lots of small pieces and things that is part of it?
Once it's put together, it has a display case over the top. I don't know if it's I believe it's acrylic, but it's to keep hands and people from touching. But yeah, it'll be in the corner. It will fully operate. There is a turntable. So it's kind of modeled around the wheelhouse that we used to have. So to go in and actually you can operate somebody help me out with this.
Roundhouse?
The roundhouse. And it'll actually spin it around. You can turn it back and 180 it and everything. So it is fully operational.
Oh, that's cool.
So.
It really is. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you, Commissioner, for pointing out that he had arrived. And I'm glad you arrived safely. Next, we'll hear from United Way of Albany County from Anna Kramer. Hi, Anna.
Hello, thank you for having us. Good evening. My name is Anna Kramer. I am the director of United Way of Albany County. I've been the director for 3 years. We have 16 partner organizations, many of them you will hear from tonight, but we have one program called the VITA program. It is a free tax program for residents of Albany County. It is, I believe, the only service in Albany County that offers free tax prep. Funding for this program, we get funding every year. It goes towards replacing laptops, buying paper, new printers, supplies, but the whole program is completely run by volunteers. So it's my board, and we partner with the university and the accounting department to get it all done. So eligibility for this is anybody who makes $75,000, a household income of $75,000 or less, and you can't have an Airbnb. But everybody else is available to get their taxes done. They're completely, they handle all kinds of situations, all kind of weird tax situations. So on average, we file about 500, I say we collectively, I do nothing with taxes. You should know that, that's important. I don't do anything with taxes. I schedule people and get them in the door. So on average, we collectively file about 550 tax returns. This time last year, this time right now, we are about 65 ahead of where we were this time last year. So the program is growing, which is really great. We've seen an increase in the student volunteers. There's a lot of popularity growing in this class. The students really like the hands-on experience, the real-world knowledge that they get. They're talking to actual people. They're helping with actual numbers. They're creating and prepping actual things. So it's a great opportunity for them. We do have a really great relationship with the university and the accounting department, and it is them and one of my board members and myself that run the whole program. So it's gaining traction. It is growing in popularity, and so this year we were able to add more tables to see more people. We're just trying to get everybody in that we can. So if you know of anybody that needs their taxes done, please send them our way. This year, our student volunteers has gone up to 24 students, which is a big increase. About 3 years ago, we were at like 8. And then it was like 16, 18, and now we're at 24. So the students really love it. They get a great opportunity. We hold about 16 or 17 clinics every tax season. Each clinic is 4 hours long. We hold clinics on the evenings and weekends to accommodate working hours. And then for next year, one of our goals is to offer more mobile clinics. We have a big problem with transportation, as everybody in Albany County does. So a lot of people have difficulty getting over to the west side, to the Lincoln Center. We would like to hold more mobile clinics. We'd like to be able to kind of pick up a couple tables and some students and then go to, the Epson Center or Laramie Health and Rehab. It's really difficult to transport clients, so that is our goal for next year. And that's all I have, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Robbie's House, and I see a number of representatives there. And Julie Flint, I see coming up, and Deb Hinkle, are you going to come up? Hello. How are you? Good evening, Julie. Good evening, Deb.
Good evening. Actually, I believe Oscar is planning on doing the presentation, but we were here if there were other questions.
Is he under your screen?
Oh.
Is he under your screening?
Probably, yeah, probably try that. Okay. He's at a director's meeting. He's out of town at a director's meeting.
There he is. Okay. Well, Oscar's going to present, and Oscar is the executive director of Robbie's House. Welcome, Oscar.
Welcome. I'm in Massachusetts in the director's seminar, so I apologize for not being there in person.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay. I don't think I've ever done, don't ask my wife, but I don't think I've ever done anything in less than 3 minutes, but tonight's the night it's going to happen in less than 3. I guarantee it. I don't see the timer, but somebody will yell at me. Oh, I see it now. Okay. So most of you have benefited from our meal program with our Lunch and Learns, so I don't have to go too in depth into that. You've been to many of our Lunch and Learns. You've seen the wonders that Julie, our culinary director, does in the kitchen with our wonderful members. We provide, if you want to go to the next slide, or can I? Okay. Most of you are familiar with our mission and our approach, so I'll just move to the next slide for time. So our meals are and that's actually a picture from our kitchen area, is nutritious, filling. We actually, now that we have our garden from last summer, based on local support, often we're actually producing our own produce on site, so it's fresh and grown right by the members. It's inexpensive to the people using our meals, and the ingredients are as clean as possible, organic and locally sourced. But the secret sauce for our wellness is not just the food, it's the community that the food brings. And that's why I've always used our meals to be covered by the Community Partner Fund, because there's something magical in breaking bread with somebody and building that meal together and being around that. And those of you that have been a part of our Lunch and Learns see the magic that comes from that wonderful meal. So we love that cyclical cost to our meal program is covered by the people of Laramie and the people of the county. That's very important to us. So to enhance our meal and garden program, please, next slide. what we'd like to do on top of our cyclical costs that the Community Partner Fund has been funding the last few years is we only have a few expansions necessary to complete really all we need for our garden and meal program. We need storage space because we are vastly running out of space, and then seasonal shading and permanent seating to our deck, which most of you have seen, so we can eat as much as possible outside, weather permitting, because we know how important it is to have fresh air and vitamin D for our wellness, for our mental health. And then we need to upgrade our greenhouse because the weather has pretty much destroyed our first greenhouse. So we've learned our lesson and we've learned how to adapt and move on to the next thing. Next slide, please. So these are the before shots, pretty bare. We're just looking to get the seating in the shading, and then upgrading our greenhouse and having a storage unit in place. So final slide. And there it is. We would hope to upgrade that. That's our plan. Both the cyclical costs and the costs for our improvements are both going to be over the amount that we've requested. But every last dollar helps keep our overall budget intact for all the other costs we have as a program. And I'm under time, it looks like.
Yes, you are. Oscar, you're a champ.
Hey, Oscar.
All right. Councilors, commissioners, any questions or comments? Councilor Bowling and I had the opportunity when staff were at their a training conference. We were invited to be a guest chef and made chicken and rice and black beans, and it was so fun. And all of the tables are set with tablecloths and dishes, and it's just such a warm and inviting experience. And the menu goes out every week, and service starts at 11, and everybody eats together, and yeah, it's really good. So thank you very much.
You can present for us next year, Mayor.
Yeah, sure. All righty.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's see, our next one is Safe Project, Amy Hefner. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me?
I certainly can, thank you.
All right, so my name is Amy Hafner. I'm the director at Safe Project, and I brought our new outreach coordinator, Garrett, with us because the community will probably be seeing a lot of him, so he'll just do a quick introduction.
Yep, so I just moved here. Good evening, thanks for having me. I just moved here from Salt Lake, have done work like this in the past. Now I'm trying to reach out to as many people, especially university students, all trying to encompass the entire Albany County, but it all comes down to one purpose, and that's why we're here tonight.
And I should say the slideshow is just for a visual, so click however. There's only a few slides. So for those of you who don't know, Safe Project is the domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking program for Albany County. We provide free and confidential services to individuals experiencing abuse, including family violence, sexual assault, and stalking. And we've been very grateful to have funding from the city and county for several years. We offer many services. We are a very small team. We have 8 of us, and a few of them are part-time, so we really rely on volunteers. And some of the things that we can do, we obviously have an emergency shelter. Over the past year, our shelter has been full very consistently, which has been it's been really difficult for us, especially being a small staff. Some of that stems from increase in housing prices. It's hard to get people in and out of shelter. And so with that,
we're just kind of drowning with needing some extra help with volunteers, and that will kind of come into the funding that we're asking for. But we do crisis counseling, safety planning, we assist with protection orders, we offer financial support, we work closely with law enforcement and the hospital, so we respond to calls at any point in time if they have somebody who's in need of an advocate. We also go to court with people, we can sit in on interviews with survivors, and in addition to all of this, we have a very strong outreach and prevention program. We feel like it's very important to teach children starting at the age of even preschool about healthy families, healthy friendships, and as the kids get older, when we're working with the teenagers, we're talking about healthy relationships, teen dating violence, because sometimes people might not recognize that they are in an abusive home or an abusive situation. So our need and our impact continue to grow. In 2025, we served 312 unduplicated individuals. Of those, 65% were seeking services for domestic violence, 19% was for sexual assault, and 16% was for stalking. We also provided 3,401 bed nights in our emergency shelter, which was serving 42 adults, 38 children, and 16 pets. So the funding that we receive is critical to allow us to continue.
Very good. Thank you, Amy.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments, please? Councilor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. Amy, thank you for all of your work. I've been able to see how you all have been onboarding new staff this past year on top of what's already been a really difficult year. And so I don't know kind of what happened nationally or statewide last year, but it was not great, and you guys have all felt the effects just in the increase you were talking about. So I definitely see your work, and thank you all for that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do. So appreciated. Just curious if there's any partnership with Interfaith, for example, in terms of the food and groceries and that sort of thing. I don't know how that works, or if
Yes, there is.
Okay, great.
Actually, just last week, we were very grateful after our nonprofit meeting. We talked with Josh, and they donated a bunch of stuff that we can stock our pantry with. Our pantry items are more so for if we're sheltering somebody in the middle of the night. Obviously, we can't go get groceries quite yet. And it's also for people who are fleeing. Sometimes they'll be on very long bus rides, and so we have to have stuff in the pantry that they can take with them. And then another, we have many partnerships. Another one that we are trying to figure out logistics is maybe through Soup Kitchen. Another barrier is transportation, and then being short-staffed with all of the other situations we have. But definitely we're trying to be more creative and utilizing our partnerships. I feel like, have a very good community for that, and we utilize as much as we can. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Alliance for Renewable Energy and Stephen Magnifico. Good evening, Stephen. Good to see you.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, council members, and commissioners. I'll just jump right to it. The Alliance for Renewable Energy is an affiliate of the Powder River Basin Resource Council, which that organization is based in Sheridan. However, I do want to emphasize that the Alliance for Renewable Energy is the arm of Powder River Basin that advocates for renewable energy within Laramie and Albany County. So I'll jump right to it. What is a solar co-op? It is a group of homeowners, businesses, and other groups that purchase solar panels and installation packages together, thus saving money after buying in a group. This differentiates from community solar because community solar is something that you subscribe to. It's a solar farm that you subscribe to versus this is a group of homeowners that are actually installing solar on their homes as individuals. So it is different. People often confuse the two, and I wanted to clarify that up front. So the way that ARE will use community partner funding to form a solar co-op is by distributing flyers to Laramie residents with information about solar solar co-ops and table at community events. We want to host informational meetings and coordinate between interested community members in an effort to initiate a solar co-op in Laramie. And the funding that we've applied for would specifically apply to the flyer distribution and the meeting materials. We want to distribute flyers to every detached single-family home in Laramie that would be able to install solar. It's an ambitious goal, but we can get it done. The benefits that this project will have for the city of Laramie and its residents is that it will help Laramie meet its carbon neutrality goal, enable households to save money on energy bills while reducing the cost of solar equipment, and create a more resilient electrical grid by supporting distributed generation. And I will say, I've talked to quite a lot of people around town about this already. My litmus test for whether or not an idea is popular is if I talk about it at the dog park and everybody loves it, it's a good idea. And I will say everyone at the dog park loves it. I mean, how many people own a single-family home in this room? Please raise your hand. It's quite a lot of people in this room that this project could benefit if we could all purchase solar together. And I've talked to a few solar installers throughout Wyoming, and one of the biggest costs for them is customer acquisition. This would help cut that cost out of the equation entirely. And with that, I'll jump straight to questions. Any questions?
Thanks, Stephen. Questions or comments? Commissioner Gosar.
I got an upgrade there, it seems. Yeah. Stephen, would you walk homeowners through the ever-changing tax incentive programs or other programs that might be helpful to this, or will this just be a bulk buy program?
This is primarily just a bulk buy program. We could do our best to educate homeowners on the different tax incentives, but our idea is that we want to find people that are already interested and somewhat educated in going solar and give them the financial ability to actually be able to purchase it. A lot of these systems are, quite frankly, very expensive, and with the tax incentives that have been cut out on a federal level, that has made it increasingly impossible for people who might want to go solar to do that, and this would make it possible for them to do that. So we could do community education around that if these sorts of questions are posed to us. It really depends on what comes up at the different community meetings that we hold and what people ask us when we publicly table about this.
Thank you.
I hope that adequately answers it.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Our next presentation will be Peace of Mind, Your Journey, Your Way, and Michelle Cook. Is Michelle here? Okay. We will move on to Common Outdoor Ground and Nicole Foss. Good evening, Nicole.
Hi. Thank you all for your time on this increasingly long evening. Every year, the need seems to grow. So I'm here to represent Common Outdoor Ground, and you can go to the next slide. We provide community support for the sustainability of outdoor spaces in Southeast Wyoming. So what that means is that we focus on projects that take place to enhance or steward outdoor spaces that are publicly accessible in this region of the state. Most of our projects are concentrated within Albany County. We're requesting $14,000, $4,000 from the city and $10,000 from the county in support of our general operating expenses. Mostly this looks like funding my salary during the winter. While that might sound like not that exciting of an expense, I am able to grant write and meet with partners and develop new avenues and pipelines for projects. Last year, the community partner funds were able to be leveraged for over $100,000 of other funding. And so really a relatively small amount of money can make a huge difference for us, especially being able to say we have that support of the city and the county that we work in. Next slide. So some of the examples of our projects are cleanup days. We did a bunch of work on cabins last year. We'll be doing a bunch more work on cabins this year. And we generally help support outdoor recreation in this area. And then next slide, just some basic numbers. We worked with 370 volunteers for over 2,000 volunteer hours. That labor is valued at over $67,000. So we get to donate that to public land managers in support of our public lands. Also, you see a lovely picture of Stuart, one of our super volunteers, at a cleanup in Roger Canyon here. I did not ask if I could use that picture, but he's a good sport. I'm sure he'll be fine with it. You can go to the next slide. And then these are just some more pictures from some of our bread and butter projects. People of all levels of skill and physical ability can come help support our public lands through COG projects. Any questions?
Thank you. Vice Mayor Richardson.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I feel like the work that you were doing within City of Laramie has increased. Can you share about a couple of the projects?
Yeah, so we have recently developed our partnership with the Laramie Plains Civic Center. We helped rehab their courtyard last year. We put in, we removed a lot of the old above ground, what we would call above ground infrastructure that was in the courtyard. And we installed 4 garden boxes, which we planted with either edible, like fruits and veggies, or native plants that would help support pollinator species. We have also done tree planting in West Laramie. We focus on West Laramie because we feel that their urban canopy has been less developed than other parts of Laramie. So we provide 10 trees a year free of cost to homeowners in order to increase the shade cover and provide outdoor spaces for play and provide an opportunity for outreach to that community and just making this a better place to work and live.
Thank you. Commissioner Hopp?
I'm going to ask the question, does your organization exist at this level without this type of funding?
I want to have faith in my ability as a grant writer that we could make it happen, but I don't think that we would be taken as seriously in many of the applications that we put in without being able to demonstrate that support from the city and from the county. I think that that connection is really important to a lot of our grantors, especially when we're doing work with public land managers. I think that the buy-in from the community is really pivotal.
Further questions or comments? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the work you do. Nancy.
Mayor and Councilor and Commissioners, I just wanted to let you know that the representative from Peace of Mind, Michelle Cook, fell ill, and so she wasn't up to attending by Zoom either. She did send a presentation, and we'll be sure to share that with you all.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next presentation is Volunteers of America and Essie McCall. Good evening, Essie. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. So my name is Essie McCall. I'm the VP of Behavioral Health over our outpatient clinics. So Volunteers of America, I think probably you guys are pretty familiar. So we're a behavioral health center. We have a lot of services that span across Wyoming, Montana, and South Dakota. I always have to walk myself through those directions. What I'm here asking for support for is funding for our outpatient clinic. It is very difficult to recruit, retain qualified individuals who are credentialed, licensed, have the necessary background to treat the individuals that we provide services for. We have a variety of services that we do provide. So we provide assessments, case management needs assessments, access to a case management skills training, medication assistance team. So we provide a wraparound support for individuals. It's not just individual therapy. We also do provide intensive outpatient treatment, evidence-based domestic violence treatment, DUI treatment. Our main population are individuals who are struggling with severe and persistent mental illness. So these are not just life situations that are causing some struggle or some pain. This is persistent. And we also have an apartment complex as well that provides housing for individuals who are also struggling with that need wraparound support. We provide medication monitoring twice a day, 7 days a week, 365. So for these individuals. In the last year, so since March of last year, we have provided service to 895 unique patients in the Albany County Clinic alone. So there's a huge need, there's a huge impact, and again, we're just looking to support individuals who are actually providing those services and the infrastructure at VOA.
Okay, thank you, Essie.
Absolutely.
Any questions or comments? Councillor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. McCall. I just want to also commend VOA for the exemplary partnership they have as Albany Care Team with the LPD, providing that crisis intervention and case management. It's a really critical part of our police infrastructure. So thank you for the ongoing partnership.
Absolutely. And we also do gatekeeping. So we work closely with Ivison for individuals who have been hospitalized and help supporting them reentry into the community safely.
Right, and the gatekeeping program has been a tremendous program for managing crisis and keeping it from getting so far. It's an early intervention and support and monitoring, and it's an important program.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Essie, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next, finally, Epson Center for Seniors, and Tammy Comer will come up. Thanks. Good evening, Tammy. Thank you for your patience.
Gosh, of course, you guys know it's always good to see so many people here talking to you guys about this stuff. So first of all, those of you who don't know me, I'm Tammy Comer. I'm the Executive Director at the Epson Center for Seniors, and I've been there for the past 9 years. The Epson Center has been providing lifelong support for independent living since 1973, and all of our efforts focus on adults age 60 plus. I know I gave you guys numbers for our last fiscal year, but I wanted to give you guys some numbers year to date as far as what we're doing this year. And so far this year, we've served 1,159 individual patrons, and 98% of those people are over the age of 60. And 42.5% of them live alone, so they're people that live alone in their own homes. Over this past 5 months, because we just do our stuff up through February, of course, because March isn't over, but we've provided 4,656 rides, which averages out to 931 rides per month. So that's a growing program as well. And what we do as far as the county money goes is that $10,000 in fuel supports our entire year's worth of fuel for the transportation program. We use it as a valuable match for our grants that we receive from YDOT, and we do provide that public transportation to anybody throughout town within a 5-mile radius. So I wanted you guys to know how important that fuel funding is for us. The additional funding that we've asked for this year is $20,000 from the City of Laramie, and what that does is help to offset, number one, the cost of food, number two, the cost of fuel. So, and that's for the trucks that are coming in, because every time we get a truck in, we're paying fuel costs on top of the increased prices for things due to fuel costs. And so what that really does is help us to be able to just have a little bit extra to be able to stretch that out a little bit more. While that $20,000 / $30,000, $10,000 from the county would not destroy our budget, where we have a $1.4 million budget. What it does is shows the partnership and the awareness that the city and the county have for ensuring that transportation is a big effort in our community, and that taking care of our seniors is also really important in our community. Right now, we're serving at about 25% of the eligible seniors in Laramie, Albany County, and we see those numbers continuing to grow at almost an alarming rate. In the next 5 years, there's going to be almost all of the baby boomer generation is going to be age 60 or plus. So those are our target clients there. And those are the folks that we, as the only senior center in Albany County, are really adamant about serving and making sure that folks are taken care of. And so please know how important your partnership is to our seniors, our patrons. They recognize that the city and the county are behind the services that we provide. And it's just really a great help for us to be able to say, hey, we partner with all of these great organizations, including a lot of our organizations here that we had earlier tonight. So again, it's always great to be able to talk to you guys. What kind of questions might you have for me?
Thank you, Tammy.
Of course.
Questions or comments? Councilor O'Doherty.
This is a comment. I read a book recently about the importance of social infrastructure, and I think most of the groups here are providing that. But as just people's, like in a heat wave in Chicago or something, the people that had community, that had people that know, well, what happened to so-and-so? He's usually here on Tuesday. That made it made a huge difference, life and death difference. Saving people. So I really appreciate what you do to build community. And I know I have several family members that are down there all the time that didn't have much social interaction before that.
No,
so.
Really important piece of what we do, for sure. Yeah. Anything else, guys?
Any further questions or comments? Commissioner Jones.
Tammy, thank you. Excuse me. I want to thank the Senior Center because they donate the building for the Thanksgiving dinner.
Always a great
And that is absolutely fantastic. And it's, to your point, it gives people a feeling of community,
sense of community,
on a day when lots of people don't have. And I don't even know now how many years I've been working on that, but for a long time. It's fantastic, and thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And also, excuse me, thank you for your help with the ranch tour. And that is mostly elderly people that go on the ranch tour. Right. And that gives them something to look forward to every summer. And thank you very much. And what the Epson Center does is just sign people up. They come in and sign up for it, which is a great help.
Gives it a central space to do that, because it's out on the ranches,
and that's a wonderful day, and thank you for your community involvement.
Of course, nope, it's our pleasure. It's what we're here for. So thank you guys so much for the difficult decisions you have in front of you.
Thank you, Tammy. Next, Laramie Pride Fest. Courtney Titus. Hello, Courtney. And was Eli coming, or?
No, Eli is sick, and they decided to spare us of their germs, which I'm grateful for.
Thank him for us.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you, Mayor, councilors, and commissioners. My name is Courtney Titus, and I'm one of the co-chairs for Laramie Pride Fest. And this is our first time talking to you all in this manner, so I have some slides with mostly pictures to show you, because that's really what we're about. And then I'm going to tell you all a little bit about who we are and our impact. Okay, thank you. So Laramie Pride Fest was founded in 2017, and we are incorporated as a 501c3 nonprofit in 2022. We are an all volunteer-led working board. We have no paid staff. And as we read before every single one of our meetings, our mission is Laramie Pride Fest celebrates, honors, and supports Wyoming's LGBTQ community while centering the legacy of where Pride began. We're also Laramie's only LGBTQ-specific organization in a place in Wyoming that I know we are all aware is incredibly important to be carrying forward this work. So we have a few signature events. We have programming year-round, but during June, we offer a full slate of events. There's something for everybody, from Pride in the Park, drag shows, a storytelling event. We host a Matthew Shepard Candlelight Vigil every summer, and of course the march that begins with the annual reading of the Pride Proclamation. Our events combined serve an average of 1,500 to 2,000 attendees annually. At Pride in the Park last year alone, we estimated we had probably 1,400 people just at Pride in the Park. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about our impact in our community and our local economy. So Laramie, relative to the rest of Wyoming, actually has a really good reputation for being welcoming to LGBTQ Wyomingites. We attract a lot of folks from across the state who drive down to our events every summer to be with community, and social infrastructure was mentioned. That's exactly what we provide. And that also increases foot traffic to local businesses, not to mention Pride in the Park itself showcases hundreds of vendors who can talk to those attendees as well. And extending that to that, we've also had opportunities for your boards and commissions to table at Pride in the Park, which is an important outreach opportunity for civic engagement to a potentially underserved and diverse population. And I'm going a little bit quickly here, so to get to our funding request, we're asking for $15,000. The total cost of our Pride programming in June costs around $22,000. So what we're looking for is an increase in our partnership that we already have with the city to offset some of our bigger costs, which include venue rentals and performer and artist stipends. Those are our two biggest expenses. All of our expenses, however, because we have no paid staff, do go right back into the community. So every dollar that you may end up awarding Pride Fest will go directly to your favorite venues, your favorite businesses, and your local creatives and artists. We are really passionate about dumping that money right back into our community. We're also really smart about collaboration and being fiscally responsible. I did some quick math, and I'm not an accountant, so, with a grain of salt, but we were able to host all of these events for just about $10 or $11 per participant.
Courtney?
Yeah, thank you. I'll stand for questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there questions or comments? Let's see, Councilor Behill.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Courtney. I go to Pride in the Park every year, and just how it's grown has been really incredible. So I also want to say thanks for providing local businesses opportunities too. Just seeing some of those food trucks out there, and the lines are wild. And so, I think it's a great event for Laramie. Thanks.
Councilor Bowling.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Courtney. For those online or in the audience, I think it's just worth noting that the Human Rights Campaign does a municipal quality index every year of cities across the nation. Laramie ranks 94, at the highest in the state, and is a very high percentile across the nation, and that's due in part to the work done by Pride Fest, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Courtney.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Next, we have the Albany County Sheriff's Search and Rescue, Matt Burkhart. Good evening, Matt. Thank you for your patience tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Chair Jones, councilors, and commissioners. My name is Matt Burkhart. I'm a board member of Albany County Sheriff's Search and Rescue. We are the all-volunteer boots-on-the-ground force for search, rescue, and sometimes, sadly, recovery in Albany County. We've been in the community since the early 1950s, and we have, as part of our mission, community outreach. One of the best ways to prevent ourselves from having to look for somebody is to try to help them not get lost. One of the ways we do that, and the primary objective from this funding request, is to take the Hug a Tree program to our elementary students. We've been doing this for about 8 years. In 2019-ish, we appreciated the community partner funding to kind of ramp this up and be able to reach the students in our county. Sadly, COVID kind of got in the middle of that. We had to do some adjustments. we've had many requests to take that program out. So this funding would pay for the education and a little survival kit that the kids get to take. It's centered all around, you can go to the next slide, a trash bag and how to stay warm and dry by hugging a mommy tree that you find out in the forest, and really letting kids know that somebody will come look for them, and hopefully that rubs off on their parents, their trusted adults, their caregivers. The other part of this outreach is being able to go out in the community and offer wilderness first aid courses. There are a lot of places in town that do CPR courses. This wilderness first aid course is it's $200 to $400. It's usually pretty prohibitively expensive for folks, but again, it puts more people out in our outdoors that have the skills to maybe affect a positive outcome with folks. And then finally, you know, the next slide there, we're looking to, on a kind of a trial basis before we integrate it into our operational funding, some new search technologies. We all know that most of Laramie or Albany County is cell service deprived, which is very nice, except when it comes to keeping track of resources and assets and getting that situational awareness to folks to increase our time to find. So some of these funds would go to paying for these technologies out in the field to keep connectivity within our teams and back to Laramie Dispatch. And I'll stand for questions.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Questions or comments? No? Oh, Commissioner Hoff.
I just want to thank you and your group, because I've been in your shoes and know how thankless sometimes it is when you do a body recovery or that kind of thing. But you do service 4,500 square miles of Albany County, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next, we'll hear from Albany County Public Library, Rachel Crocker. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm going to get this open, start some time for myself. Thank you all. It's always a pleasure to come and see your faces and talk. Kind of a logistical reminder, I guess for everybody, but particularly for City Council, I want to remind you, so if you look at that spreadsheet, you're going to see nothing in the county request. And that's because we only request through this process, we only request money from the city. That does not mean we're not getting 1% money from the county. For the county, we request through their normal department request. And we typically get, in the last couple of, this year we have $90,000 from the county. So I just wanted to make sure that as you're looking at that, understand, so a lot of that money you see in the other column is actually county money. It's just that we're not requesting through the system. So when you look at that request, know that that's why you're only seeing a city request and not one from the county. So typically when I come to these things, I feel like I spend a lot of my time trying to educate people about the non-book things that we do at the library. I want to make sure that people understand what it is that we do that doesn't include books. And you can see that in my request. You'll see that kind of encapsulated in some of those, some of our top requests, but I'm going to, for sake of time, I'm going to jump to our direct service requests this year, which are new, a new request to the city. But I'm going to talk about books. These are actually all about books. I don't usually do that, but that's what these are. So there are two requests that I put in there. All of these are essentially about helping people get access to books that we don't physically have in our library. So one of those is interlibrary loan. If you have a library card, you can borrow from any library in Wyoming, but you can also ask us to borrow that book on your behalf. Last year, we borrowed on behalf of our patrons, we borrowed 1,200 items from other libraries. So this helps, this is taking advantage of the fact that Natrona County and Laramie County have much bigger budgets and a lot more space, and they can hold more books than we can. And so we can go borrow a book that we don't have. Often we're borrowing from community colleges or just the types of materials, often like unique local materials to those counties that someone might want that we borrow on their behalf. It's a great way to expand access, but is expensive. Postage has increased a lot, and so that has increased reduced our cost. The second one I want to talk about is Overdrive, or you may know that as the Libby app. Last year, Albany County checked out 98,500 items. About 10% of the checkouts in Wyoming are from Albany County library card holders. We are power users. So that tracks out to about 12 cents for every checkout. So that money, we don't leverage it in terms of like actual dollars, but every book that it costs 12 cents for every single book because of our users. So you guys really are helping that access. It's not just access, it's access below, it's convenient. It's also, though, disability access. So you think the Libby app allows for dyslexic font. The Libby app has audio. If someone, now that most hearing aids connect to Bluetooth, they can listen to an audiobook through their hearing aid. So there's a lot of aspects to Overdrive that are not just the convenience of having a book on your app, but also really some really disability access as well. 3 minutes goes so fast, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rachel. Are there any questions or comments? Vice Mayor?
I don't have questions, but I do love me some Libby app. If you guys don't have it, you should really get it on your phone. It's super. So.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Rachel. Next, Science Loves Art. And Renee Williams, you are here.
Hi, I'm here, and I didn't send a presentation. I'm here in person, and I wanted to just spend my 3 minutes enjoying you and chatting with you. Most of you probably know that I'm an artist, and I went to UW and got my Bachelor's of Fine Arts as my second degree. My first was accounting, so I ditched that. Anyway, after I learned that I love creating art and what it did for me, I learned that more than making art that I could show other people, I loved showing other people, anyone, how to make art. And it just became my passion. So that's where Science Loves Art was born. It became a nonprofit in 2018, and through a grant with you guys, that was one of my first ones, and also funded through the National Science Foundation to get art out to our rural communities. But it's grown, and my vision at the beginning, and it still is how do we provide art, and not art like you think of it going signing up for a workshop. This isn't like that. This is about experiences for children, for seniors, for anyone, no matter if they have any money, if they can attend a class, if they can pay for the class. It's about experiences. It's about connecting nature and that experience of art. How does it change our brain? How does it improve our life? So it's not just about me creating art experiences, but facilitating and bringing in artists and musicians and dancers and all kinds of creative forms into our communities. So the Fermentation Festival was one that we started, and then we had the Pollinator Festival, and then last year we had the Bumble Brew. That was super fun, and I loved seeing the community show up for that. So that was really nice, probably our most successful event. It was in April at the Civic Center, and we invite nonprofits and the community to come out. So we had a line around the door, around the building, and it was amazing. But we did support over 50 artists and local musicians. It was a one-day event. It was a lot of work. This year, what we want to do, and a lot of this depends on the support we get from you, is expanding. So now it's called the Slow Bumble Brew Fest. So that means we're going to do the same thing, same concept, same support to local artists and local musicians, but we're going to expand it. Every week we're going to have projects supported by local artists, designed by local artists and local musicians, put those together in smaller chunks, either at our studio, greenhouse, different places around town, or with kits so that they can be easily used by homeschools, people that are in rural communities. Parents need tools like this for their children. Children need things like this without being able to go to a class. So that's what we're rolling out for the summer. At the end of the summer, we'll have a big event that will basically have live music. Everyone can showcase their art. So that's kind of our plan for the summer. And we don't do it on our own. We have tons of collaborators, and I made a little list for you. A lot of them were here tonight, and I did enjoy listening to you guys on Zoom since you started, and you've been here a long time, and you have a lot of work, I know, but some of the examples of some of the work we've done this last year. We do a lot of work with Big Brothers Big Sisters. We provide crafts for their events, and we also provide kits for their matches, for their bigs and littles. We do work with the Albany County Library. We're going to host an art project this summer. Am I done?
You have.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I let you go a little further.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Next to last.
I know. It goes so fast. It's true.
It does. It's amazing.
I know.
So, commissioners, councilors, any questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Huff.
Good evening.
Hello.
Does your I've looked through your balance sheet. Does your organization exist without this funding at this level?
A little bit. A lot of the work that we do, we're supported by the Wyoming Arts Council consistently. We also have sponsors and businesses that help support us, but we really depend on your funds to support the local events that are in person that we provide. It helps us support the in-person events that we do. We do also match and create our own fundraising through online sales like kits and things like that. But this is what helps us with Laramie and Albany County.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Oh, Commissioner Jones, just whack me one.
Thank you, Mayor. When you're doing these art projects with the kids, do you incorporate reading into this?
We incorporate so many things. We incorporate nature. It's not about step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It's more about everybody can take it the way they want to experience it. So there is reading, there's visuals, there's videos, and there's in person.
Because kids lose so much over the summer if they're not reading.
Oh, I know.
And that's where I was coming from.
Yeah.
On that, so.
No, a lot of it does. It depends on if they're doing the kids, but we are doing a program through the Parks and Rec every summer. Every week we have a program, and you'll have to watch for it. It's called Wild Art with Science Loves Art. But there's always a reading component, but a lot of it's just letting the child experiment on their own and discover art and nature through their discovery.
Right.
But you're right, they do lose a lot.
With that, so.
Yeah.
And I love this. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, you'll have to go look at our website, and you'll see all the visuals that I didn't get to give you tonight.
All right.
Thank you
so much, Renee. Yes, Nancy?
Mayor, thank you. I just wanted to let you know, we do have a link to a video for Peace of Mind since she was ill. So after Albany County Fairgrounds, if you want me to try to play that, I'd be happy to do that.
All right. So next and almost last, Albany County Fairgrounds, Taylor Haley. Good evening, Taylor.
Good evening, elected officials. First, I would like to introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Taylor Haley. My day job, I work at the fairgrounds. But I'm here this evening on my volunteer job, one of several. However, I would like to make a friendly amendment to the presentation list and change the organization name to the Albany County Fair Alumni Association. That is actually who I am here in support of this evening. So I'm going to roll through this pretty quick. So if you guys have any further questions for me, I'm happy to answer those, but I kind of wanted to get to the nitty-gritty pieces of this. So we were formed in 2023, but the important thing to note is that this is our 6th year of the Jackpot Show, which is what I'm here to talk to you guys about. So we formed our 501c3 and moved our Jackpot Show under this 501c3 in 2023. We're 100% volunteer-led. We have the Gym City Showdown and then the Smoke and Barbecue Contest, which actually Sean Bullock, who was here earlier, helps us facilitate that contest. Our impact, so we have taken in some donor dollars. I listed some projects that we've worked on. If you've driven down 287 recently, you've seen our fancy new LED sign. That was facilitated through our 501c3. Along with some other very, very needed enhancements. The Gym City Showdown, so we have over 900 participants and families that come from Arizona, South Dakota, Utah, Colorado, Montana, Wyoming, and every year we always add a new state. We hire nationally recognized judges for the event, and it's really handy to have those families come to town. We've actually become one of the largest youth livestock jackpot shows in the region, and we are a destination spot for those families, and we get on a circuit. It's a whole complicated thing. If you've never been to one and you want to dive into it, you are more than welcome to come hang out. But it drives local revenue in hotels, restaurants, and retail spaces. A little bit about the jackpot, the barbecue. I put that in here, put a buckle that we gave out last year. That is a huge hit. That is a state contest, qualified them for Kansas City. And this year we have added a kids queue. I shouldn't say we, Patrick and Sean are the ones that spearhead that. I assist them with it. So this is where the bread and butter is coming in. So I am here this evening to seek support for our jackpot show. You'll see in our financials, I broke out the $5,000 from each entity. And it would basically be the county and the city investing in agriculture and youth. We do give out scholarships to youth every year. This would go to support our jackpot show. And there's lots of different opportunities there. However, the city of Laramie and Albany County would then be listed as the presenting sponsors of that event. And that would come in the form of being announced even at county fair. We do collaborate over with our sponsors to gain some additional view at county fair and during those other events. It would be announced during the barbecue contest at the beginning of county fair, recognized throughout the jackpot show, and of course, if any of our elected officials would like to come hand out awards and chase around kids with pigs, we are more than happy to allow you in the show arena. We will point you in the direction. It's actually a really good time. We have several folks in this room that have come to assist us in previous events, but it is something that molds our youth in agriculture. I am one of those. I showed cattle, horses, sheep, and hogs on the national circuit, as well as these types of shows. And so it is very important to our youth in agriculture that we support them in their endeavors as well as all the other endeavors that were talked about this evening.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilors, Councilor Newman.
I just have a comment.
Yes.
Coming from Kansas City, I thought I would never do a barbecue contest, so I am so glad that we have one here, and I hope we can continue supporting that so I can continue doing it.
We actually, well, you come and you are in the Wyotech tent, aren't you? Yes, I recognize from my wandering around the barbecue contest. It is actually we get a signed proclamation from the state, from the governor for that contest itself, so that way it is a qualifier for Kansas City. I think currently we have teams registered, I looked the other day, from 6 states so far, maybe 6 or 7. So it's becoming quite large, and the kids queue is going to be really fun this year. That's got some local partners to get that sponsored and going for the kids.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you very much. I am sorry, I'm searching your application to try to find this, and I'm sure it's in here, but I'm not seeing it. How many folks do you have attend this Gem City Showdown, and how many then are at the Jackpot Show? So
the Gem City Showdown is the name of the Jackpot Show. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. So we see about 900 total over the 3 days, and that's all family units, everybody that comes into town. We do have vendors that come out for livestock show products. We have a really cute boutique trailer that comes into town, but that incorporates those 900 individuals that we have at the show that weekend. Thank you. Yes. It goes from Friday at noon till Sunday whenever we get done.
Commissioner Huff.
Taylor, good evening. Is the criteria for the scholarship award, do you have that established, or is it?
We do.
Okay.
So we give out 2 scholarships a year, or we have the application open for 2. We give it to 1 female, 1 male. And the qualifications for that is that they're an active 4-H or FFA member, that they've exhibited at our show, or are from Albany County, that are participating in agriculture.
Very good.
So.
Commissioner Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Taylor, I think it's interesting that there's something very unique about this barbecue contest and the belt buckles.
Oh, yes. So it turns out that at a lot of barbecue contests around all over the place, that buckles are not a thing, even if they are during a county fair, which I found kind of odd. So whenever we first started into this, I told Patrick and Sean, I said it would be really cool because it's during county fair to make it traditional county fair awards. We give out rosettes, we give out our placards that say champion on them, we give out buckles that have the donors' names on them, and the buckles are the biggest hit. And these are all adults, like grown people, and it's still like it's the same as an 8-year-old that wins a buckle as compared to a 50-year-old that wins a buckle. The same amount of glee every time. It is actually really funny to me, but it's a really cool thing that no other contest, which shocks me, but no other contest does a belt buckle, and we actually have a really cool sponsorship with our buckle sponsor to do 4-H's buckles, our buckles, the Jackpots buckles, all the things. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. And now we're going to have a video presentation, and this will be the last. And this is from the organization Peace of Mind 29, thank you. I'm on the wrong page, no wonder. Peace of Mind, Your Journey, Your Way. And Michelle Cook is the executive director. And this is the group, if you've ever been to the hot chocolate contest that takes place at the depot, I think every January.
In 2021, our director, Michelle Cook, achieved her lifelong dream of starting Peace of Mind, Your Journey, Your Way. We earned nonprofit status in January of 2023 and haven't stopped expanding since. Our dedicated and passionate team of 28 currently supports over 45 participants with disabilities and acquired brain injuries in their homes and communities in the Laramie, Wyoming area. What sets us apart from other DD waiver providers is our commitment to inclusivity and challenging barriers. We believe that our participants deserve to live the life they choose, which means getting out into the community, spending quality time with loved ones, and living their lives according to their own interests. Peace of Mind is dedicated to providing quality services at no extra cost to participants, while at the same time providing as much opportunity to achieve their dreams as possible. There is no greater feeling than seeing the joy in someone's face as they participate in creating the life they have imagined. Join us in our mission to make a difference for our participants every single day. Thank you for supporting Peace of Mind.
Thank you. All right. Well, this ends the presentations for the evening. Thank you all so much. It's a long evening. I appreciate your patience. It did get a little warm in here, but with all these warm bodies and warm hearts. So,
Mayor?
Sorry,
yes.
Go ahead. Oh, yes. Is there any public comment on this agenda item?
And I actually have a comment still, if that's possible.
You still have a comment?
If that's okay.
We'll do it when we make sure there's no public.
Thank you.
I see none. Is there any final comment from elected persons up here?
That'd be me. I don't know if anyone else has a comment, but I so appreciate everyone coming. But have been thinking a lot about, the questions of our duties as elected officials and taxpayers. And I'm just going to share kind of how I'm thinking of this, because I think it's really important to think about being responsible with these funds, but I also think we need to consider that public value versus like financial distress, and the need versus the impact. And so making sure that as I'm thinking about this, there may be a really healthy nonprofit who can make it without these dollars, and their impact is huge. So I think just continuing to think about all of the pieces when we choose what to fund is just something I want to share. So leave it at that.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any further final comments from anybody? Commissioners, councilors? All right. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate all that you do for our community to make it whole. Thank you. We will go ahead and finish the council meeting. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye, county people. Thank you for all your work on this.
Bye, county friends.
And you too, Nancy Oakland Potter. Thank you for working with us. Yay.
Thank you, Bailey.
Thank you, Bailey. All right. Counselors, let's start with Counselor Newman. Updates.
Youth Council meets tomorrow.
Alrighty. Counselor Bowling.
Youth Council meets tomorrow. Last week was police advisory. We had a presentation from Albany Cares team and Ashley McCall and the chief, as well as a presentation about the item we'll see during budget around the acquisition of two tracking and tracking canines for the LPD. So that's something that we'll go over in the budget sessions.
Very good, thank you. Councilor Lockhart.
I did the Planning Commission meeting yesterday, and part of it had to be postponed because it had to do with the URA and the West Side project, but they couldn't vote on anything because of the blight designation hasn't been done yet by us. But there was some public comment, the same people, of course, that had spoke at our meeting. And then we had the Board of Adjustments about Lee's Trailer Court out there on Cedar Street on the way to Pilot. Basically moving, there's 3 big trailers that are too long for the property, and so that was a 3-hour ordeal that got postponed for a vote. So that's about it.
Very good. All right, Councilor Freed.
Thank you, Mayor. Park Streets Rec Board met. Had some new members that showed up for that, so that's exciting, and that's my only update.
Very good. Councilor O'Doherty.
No updates.
Ooh, I love it. Councilor Vigil.
It's been a long night, Mayor.
It has
a
been.
Good night. I was in Washington, D.C. all last week for National League of Cities. Got to spend a brief amount of time with Councilor Shumway, and that was really great. I think what I took away from it the most was getting to connect with the folks at WHAM and then some of the other mayors across Wyoming, and so that was really impactful for me, and everyone should go. It's a great conference. Thanks.
Thank you. And I'm going to be really brief. I haven't had all of my meetings are coming up, and I won't bother to tell you before. I'll tell you after. And the vice mayor and I met, and we've been having meetings and talks with various members of the community who are wanting to get clarity and information. So I have absolutely spent hours at the coffee shop and hours on the phone, and a really long time with a certain person on the phone, and I was really proud of myself for doing that. So, we do not have an agenda.
Micah didn't go. Micah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Micah.
Sorry, Vice Mayor.
It's okay. Micah is just fine.
Vice Mayor.
I actually, most of my stuff is coming up too, so I don't have updates.
Yeah.
Good. Yep.
We've just been busy answering questions. Oh, all right. Well, guess what? We're adjourned.
That will be at the right location.